Yo, it's your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics, back at you with a new video. Today is Friday, January 10th, 2025, with your boy Ryan and the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button either now or on your way out. Donate to your boy if you can. Cash App $ ORIONNWSF or the YouTube Super Chat right here. We're in 2025. We have one game left before we get into the Natty. Congratulations, Notre Dame, for beating Penn State yesterday. We have the Goodyear Cotton Bowl, number 8 Ohio State Buckeyes versus the number 5 Texas Longhorns. Kickoff is going to be in roughly 10 to 12 minutes. Can't wait to be able to see what we get here in this matchup in the Goodyear Cotton Bowl. Let's get the music queued up, take a look at the thumb, and let's get settled in for one of the last games of the 2024 college football season. Notre Dame has punched their ticket into the Natty. Who will punch their ticket here tonight? Will it be the Ohio State Buckeyes or will it be the Texas Longhorns? Let's wait and find out. Let's get it, baby. And on the thumb on the left is the OG Will Howard. And on the right, the former Buckeye, now Texas Longhorn, Quinn Ewers. Let's freaking go. It was a defensive battle yesterday between Notre Dame and Penn State, but the offenses opened up in the second half. This one should have a little bit less defense, and you would assume the offenses are going to start to impose their will, but a pretty good possibility that the score will be higher than 27-24 that we saw last night with Notre Dame beating Penn State to earn their trip to the Natty. But again, we know both of Texas and Ohio State, we know their defenses can play in spurts at times, and obviously Ohio State has the better defense. And one particular stat that I wanted to be able to share with you guys on why I have Ohio State winning here tonight is a good one here. Because, you know, I'm about defense. I love offense, but, you know, I am a defensive-minded kind of guy. Ohio State's defense this season. Now, we know with Notre Dame, they were number 1 in turnovers and number 1 in turnover in points. But with all the other categories, listen to this. The Ohio State defense this season in the 2024-2025 season. Points per game, 12.1 for their defense. That's number 1 in FBS. Passing yards per game, 141.2. First in FBS. Total yards per game, 244.6. First in FBS. Yards per play, 4.05. First in FBS. Red zone scoring percentage for their defense, 61.8. Second in FBS and rushing yards per game, 92.2. Fifth in FBS. So in a lot of those categories, they got 4 number 1s, 1 number 2, and a number 5. That's enough for me to be able to nod. Hey, you know, I see you in the SEC. But again, you know, I knew that we weren't going to have 2 Big Ten teams in the Natty because, let's be honest, Oregon and Ohio State are better than Penn State. But there is a good possibility that if Ohio State wins this game, that they will win it all. But Notre Dame's defense, you know, should be able to keep them close in the game, and it'll hopefully give them some extra time for Jeremiah Love and a few others to get healthy with that flu bug and some of the injuries floating around. But again, Quinn Ewers is going to have a fantastic game. But really what it's going to come down to is the line of scrimmage, the O-line and the D-line. Whoever wins that line of scrimmage battle is going to win the game. And also defense. You got to be able to minimize some of those big chunk plays. And again, Texas has got some good players, you know, but they don't got Jeremiah Smith, who arguably is going to be the best player on the field, offense or defense. And again, if he gets going early like he did against Oregon, it'll be night-night for the Texas Longhorns. Let's go, baby. I am ready. Sarah in the building, what's good? How are you? Let's get to 100 in donos. Let's do it. And then again, let's keep track of the likes on the channel, in the chat, as well as the donos. Again, we'll be shooting for 20 likes within the first hour, 30 to 50 overall, and obviously 100 in the donos on every single stream. And if you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do before the game starts. It'll just get things going with the algorithm. And the faster that we can end up hitting 20, the faster that we can hit that algorithm there. So thank you so much for for the few of you that are in the room here early on before the game starts. And again, once we hit that algorithm, you never know when you may get that recommendation where we might go from 20 in the room to 50 in the room to 100 in the room, all the way up to maybe 500, 600, 700 in the room. We've done it earlier this season, and this game has a possibility of reaching those numbers depending on if we can hit that algorithm as well. He said, should I watch the Pelicans or this? Well, if you're talking about my stream specifically or the game itself, Ohio State or Texas, it really depends on if you're a college football fan or not. That's a personal preference for you. But if you are willing to hang out with us and watch the game here, we'd love to have you. But if you want to watch the Pelicans instead, that is your business. Or you can end up watching both. You know, I usually end up watching more than one stream when I'm working, let alone when I'm not working. So if you want to double dip, you can do that as well. Usually I'll have an NBA game or an NHL game on at the same time. But again, we're happy that you're here, at least at the moment. And I hope that your Pelicans win. I assume that's your favorite team there. Daniel in the building, what's good? I figured that, you know, it's going to be too dangerous for a lot of people, you know, out there to be able to risk their safety to go in to make a couple extra dollars. So that's probably the right choice. Not really. You know, like I said, you have to understand, you know, for me being a football fan and being a sport fanatic, you know, I'm not a bandwagon fan. When I started watching Oregon, they were winning like one game a year when I was very, very little, 3, 4, 5 years old. So you have to understand, to go from winning 1 or 2 games a year, being in the Pac-8, the Pac-10, the Pac-12, and now the Big Ten, you know, we definitely overachieved, but we didn't really have those NFL players on the offense. You know, Dylan Gabriel is not going to be Justin Herbert or Bo Nix in the NFL, and that's what we needed this year. We needed DeAnthony Thomas. We needed LaMichael James to be able to match up with like a Jeremiah Smith. Now, was the seeding kind of fucked to have to play Ohio State in the first game? Yeah, let's be honest, that was a little rough, right? And also, too, having about a month off. You know, so for every team that ended up having the bye, everybody lost. So there definitely needs to be some changes, you know, in the college football playoff. But at the end of the day, coulda, woulda, shoulda, we're just not good enough. And I ended up going over this stat, you know, a few streams ago. For all of the elite coaches from in the last 20 years, you know, whether it be a short run with Dabo Swinney at Clemson, whether it be with guys like Nick Saban or Harbaugh or Kirby Smart, typically it takes 6 to 12 seasons before you end up winning a natty. Dan Lanning is in year number 3. So, I mean, again, it would have been awesome to go undefeated as the only team, win the Big Ten championship, and we were the only team 13-0, and if we were able to finish the whole thing and go 16-0, how great that would have been. Because honestly, before I die, I want to be able to see Oregon at least win one natty, and I want the Mariners to win one pennant. And I know that might be asking a little bit too much from the sports gods, but again, when you end up playing a team like Ohio State, we barely beat them in Autzen by 1 at home. So we already knew going in that this is their division. We're just entering it in the very first year. Now, did we really think that we were going to go undefeated and actually go 13-0 and win the Big Ten in our first year? Not really. You know, we were hoping that we would be good. We were hoping that we would be 1 or 2 in the Big Ten with Ohio State, and we were. Penn State had a fantastic year. Shout out to them as well. But again, when you look at the defense, we finally have a defense. But when you look at the offensive players, Dylan Gabriel and Jordan James got hurt, Tez Johnson, Evan Stewart, a lot of those guys got banged up, but they don't really impose the fear in the other teams. And we don't have any Jeremiah Smiths. But one day when Dan Lanning can get the recruiting right, and if we can end up getting players like that, you know, like 5-star wide receiver, 5-star running back, getting better offensive linemen, better defensive players, then maybe one day Oregon will be in the natty and they'll win it all. But we might have to go to a natty and lose again before we win it. It shows you how tough college football is, and it's not necessarily who you play, it's when you play them. And certain teams get hot at the right time. The Buckeyes and the Wolverines, probably the 2 hottest teams. It's like kind of comparing, you know, teams like like the Lions or the Chiefs, right, as like the Buckeyes. And then obviously, as you see, Michigan, a team that didn't make the college football playoff, but then ended up beating Ohio State at the end of the year and beating Bama in the bowl game and the Iron Bowl. That comparison is kind of like the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, if the Bengals would have gotten in to the playoffs this year, there would be a lot of concern from the Chiefs, the Bills, and the Ravens, because they know how good Joe Burrow is, and that's how Michigan was playing. So always remember, it's not necessarily, who you play, but it's the timing of when you play them. And especially, at the end of the year, if you can get hot and healthy, anything can happen. But, again, I already knew, that it was going to be a tough road. We would have had to beat Ohio State, beat Texas, beat Notre Dame. And what are the chances of that happening? It could have maybe happened, but again, we're just not there yet. But I'm hopeful one day that we will be there. And again, it's always going to be go Ducks for me until I die. And again, we're going to have to earn it. And sometimes you got to crawl before you walk, before you ended up being a champion. So we'll see where it goes here. But again, it didn't hurt me, as much. I'll be really honest. The losses to the Huskies the year before, when we had Bo Nix, when we lost by 3 in both of those games hurt me more than the game against Ohio State, because, once the score is already 34-0, the game's already over. So we had no chance. But at least in that Husky game with Oregon, when we ended up, matching up to them twice and losing by 3, when it was kind of questionable play calling and decision making by Lanning, those ones hurt more, if I'm being honest, rather than getting blown out by Ohio State. And honestly, if we're really being honest, right, Ohio State looks like they're the best team. If they can go through Tennessee, which is kind of a, mid-average SEC team, but then playing Oregon, who was the number 1 team for many, many weeks, right, and then going into the college football playoff and taking care of us so easily, if they beat Texas, more than likely they're going to be the favorite, in the Natty against Notre Dame. And we'll see where it goes, and we'll see if Texas can bring it, here today. If Texas ends up winning, Notre Dame will probably have a legitimate shot, to win the Natty. But if Ohio State wins this, it's going to be really tough for the Fighting Irish to keep up, in my opinion. They might be able to keep up for a few quarters, but 4 quarters is something totally different. Captain in the building. What's good? How are you, brother? And then we'll end up doing tomorrow. We're going to do the Steelers and the Ravens at 5 o'clock Pacific. Then we're going to do the Commanders and Buccaneers on Sunday at 5 o'clock Pacific. And then we're going to do a double dip where we're going to end up doing the Vikings and Rams. And then we'll also be watching Monday Night Raw on Netflix as well. But the live stream will be the Rams and the Vikings. So we got college football here. We'll figure out who punches their ticket to play Notre Dame in the Natty, obviously, and that'll be in another 10 days after today, roughly. And again, we'll see how this game goes. But again, a defensive battle with Penn State and Notre Dame last night. This should be more offensive minded, but we will have some explosive defensive plays. But it should be a higher scoring affair here today. So if you like offense, this is the game for you. If you like defense, you had that game yesterday. And if you like a little bit of both, you might end up getting it in this one as well, because we know Texas and Ohio State got some good defenses, obviously, this season. Let's go, baby. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Let's go, baby. Odin in the building. What's good? Yeah, well, he's a hater, He's a type of guy that absolutely doesn't know anything about sports. He said, and I quote, the WNBA is going to be more popular than baseball in 10 to 20 years. That shows you how much of a moron that Cam Newton is. There is no way in hell the WNBA is going to be bigger than baseball. Again, just because you don't play baseball, Cam Newton, doesn't mean that you don't realize how popular it really is. It may not be on the same level as college football or the NFL or WWE, but it's a hell of a lot better than the NBA right now. And I like what the WNBA has been doing, but there is no planet that the WNBA or the NBA, you could put those together and they're never going to be on the baseball level. Even though not every individual loves baseball, there's millions of fans that do. So, with Cam Newton hating on Notre Dame, let him. Again, defense wins games. Defense wins championships. I've been pretty on point with my predictions. I said it was going to be Notre Dame and Ohio State, and I'm obviously sticking to my guns. And again, Notre Dame, they were the number one in obviously takeaways and points off takeaways. And then in the other categories, Ohio State is number one. And I just read this off just a couple moments ago. Let me read it again. And again, this is the reason why I got Ohio State today, besides guys like Jack Sawyer, right? Stud. Ohio State defensive rankings this season. Points per game, 12.1, number one in FBS. Passing yards per game, 141.2, first in FBS. Total yards per game, 244.6, first in FBS. And yards per play, 4.05, first in FBS. So if you're number one in 4 categories on defense, Notre Dame had number one rankings in 2 big categories. I'm going to definitely go with that team. And Ohio State is going to be known for their offense with obviously Howard and Emeka Egbuka and the number one player on the field, Jeremiah Smith, right? This guy could be arguably maybe the first pick in the draft if he was eligible as a freshman. That's how good this guy is. Like, Travis Hunter is great, right? Travis Hunter is great. And we know Ryan Williams at Alabama is a great freshman receiver as well. But this Jeremiah Smith guy, he reminds me, of like a Justin Jefferson, a Jamar Chase type of guy. And he's only a freshman. He's got to stay in school for a couple more years. So in a couple years, don't be surprised if Jeremiah Smith ends up being the number one player off the board, even at a wide receiver position. Congrats. Let's go. Hybrid in the building. What's good? And again, if you watch Texas play, up to this point, they haven't really played their best ball. Ohio State has, against Tennessee, and obviously didn't play good against Michigan, but got it turned around against a mid-Tennessee team, beat the shit out of Oregon, and obviously they are flying high. And, again, a lot of people would think that Oregon fans would be sour and say, fuck Ohio State. We don't want them to win. We don't want Penn State to win. If we lose, everyone loses. But I'm not that kind of guy. I want to represent for the conference, and the Big Ten is king. And I think we're going to see that here tonight. And then we'll get the Buckeyes and the Fighting Irish in the Natty. Let's go, baby. All right, here we go. I mean, I think a lot of people thought Oregon was going to win, and if we were going to lose, we would have only lost by like 3. There's no fucking scenario that we thought that game would end like that, but it shows you that's what happens when you have 3 weeks to a month off for college kids. Every team that had the bye lost. So obviously, if that system is flawed, if you're going to end up having a team that has a bye, that's not rewarding the number one team in the land, Oregon, with a month off with these college kids. It fucking hurt us, and it hurt every other team that got a bye. Nobody won. So if you're going to have a bye, it has to be like 1 week at the very most, maybe 2, but not 3 or 4 weeks. That's just way too long. Big facts. All right, here we go. Yours. Little play action fake. Little screen pass. All right, baby. Here we go. Weisner run for 4 yards. I see you. Ewers pass complete to Golden, 22 yards. First down, Longhorns. Move the chains, and they need to get on the board early, and they have to move very quickly. Pull in the building. What's good? Hell, if I can say go Buckeyes, anyone should be able to. If anyone should be fucking sour and angry and pissed, it's, Oregon fans or myself. But, again, I'm not a hater. I appreciate greatness, even if it's against a rival. And, to me, the Buckeyes are the better team, but they're still going to have to execute. And we'll see if their defense can make a play on this drive, or if Texas will march down the field and get points in the first drive here tonight. Viewers, a little bootleg, floater. Wow, that one-handed grab was something else. Oh, my. Wingo run for 6 yards, 2nd down and 4 on the OSU 37. They're moving. Ewers pass incomplete, 3rd down and 4 on the OSU 37. Look at this end around. Okay. Yeah, NBA ratings are terrible because they don't play defense and everyone shoots threes. It's not a good product anymore. It's the worst sport to watch out of all the sports that's on right now. Hands down. I mean, if you're young, you don't know any better, but anyone that's 30 and up, that used to watch the games in the 80s and 90s, it doesn't even compare. At one point, the NBA was number 1. Now it's the worst thing. Like, baseball's better, NASCAR's better, hockey's better, everything is better. Weisner, I see you. And Ewers pass incomplete to DeAndre Moore Jr. Buckeyes get the football. Uh-oh, Texas. What did you do there? You want to make sure you're taking points. Yeah, running up the gut there, that ain't going to get it done. Now, I would assume that both of these offenses are going to be overly aggressive going for it on 4th down. Good stop by the Buckeyes. That's why they're good, man. They got all those defensive players. Terrible play on 4th down and 3 for Quinn Ewers. It's got to be better than that. And you already know how Ohio State plays defense. Timely blitzes. Jack Sawyer, stud. Zion ain't a fucking savior. Don't be delusional. Maybe when, he was playing at Duke, but, oh boy likes cheeseburgers and women more than he loves the NBA. Zion is never going to be anything, my guy. If he was ever going to live up to the expectations, he would have actually lost weight, cut back on the cheeseburgers and the womanizing, stopped trying to have kids and sending DMs to every fucking IG model. And then maybe if he was committed to basketball, that could be something. But that is far from the truth, my guy. And even if Zion ended up being like Wembanyama or LeBron or Giannis, that's not going to make people go out of their way to watch the NBA. The product is terrible. Maybe you, as a Pelican fan, would be more interested, but the NBA is trash. 1st down and 10 at the OSU 36. See what they can get going here on Will Howard and their drive here in the 1st quarter. Let's go. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 20 within the 1st hour, 30 to 50 overall, and 100 in the donos on every single stream. Hey, I don't tell lies. I speak the truth. Some people might not like the truth, but it is what it is. So you went all the way to work to try to make the money, and then they ended up closing, huh? They don't give you any emails or like messages for work when the snow is crazy out there. I got to give you a heads up, my guy. Or at least you got the free Lyft or Uber on the way back. Judkins run for 5 yards to the OSU 41, 2nd down and 5 for the Buckeyes. exciting few days. We got this one to see who punches their ticket, Buckeyes or Longhorns against the Fighting Irish, right? And then we got amazing NFL playoffs on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. It's going to be a great, great weekend. Five touchdowns to one pick. And there's been moments where Howard, has looked kind of mid and average, but as of late, after getting off of that, bad Michigan game, they have been the hottest team in college football. Beating up Tennessee, beating up Oregon. This is going to be a challenge, but we'll see what happens. Judkins run for 2 yards to the OSU 43, 3rd down and 3. And it's just a matter of time until Jeremiah Smith makes a big play, or Emeka Egbuka right there. Pass complete to Egbuka for 5 yards. First down, Buckeyes. And you got to think it's going to be, Ohio State, Oregon, Penn State for many, many years. And again, at some point, Michigan will catch up, as well as some of the other teams that are in the Big Ten. But again, it's going to be a battle, every single year. And again, I'm up for it. And adding Oregon to the Big Ten definitely makes us the strongest conference in college football. It used to be the SEC, but no more. Howard pass complete to Tate for 14 yards. Move that football, baby. First down, Buckeyes. Move the chains. You can tell, Howard is a very rhythm player. Once he gets it spread out to Emeka Egbuka or Tate or Jeremiah Smith, passing complete to him right there, 2nd down and 10. And again, they got good running backs. Offensive line has been a little bit of a bugaboo for them because they lost their starting center. Their guard play early in the season wasn't very good. They had to rotate some guys. But as the season, went on, they were able to move some guys around. The health got a little bit better, and the offensive line has played better as of late. Judkins run for 4 yards to the Texas 34, 3rd down and 6 for the Buckeyes. Just can't believe college football is almost over. We got 2 games left, this one and the Natty. Where did the time go? Wow. That throw to Jeremiah Smith in double coverage a few plays ago. Again, they'll find that at some point in the game. But again, Chip Kelly, another thing that people don't talk about as much as they should. They'll talk about Ryan Day and his rankings, and his win and loss percentage against top 5 teams and whatnot. But adding Chip Kelly has really been the difference in the Buckeyes this season, and the run that they've had after that Michigan game, rather than anyone they've ever had in the past, because we know Chip can be a head coach and be a play caller. So essentially they got 2 head coaches on the Buckeyes, and when Chip is in his bag, nobody is going to outduel him in the play calling, period. Howard pass complete to Emeka Egbuka for 11 yards. First down, Buckeyes. Chip Kelly is smiling, baby. First down and 10 on the Texas 23. Well, we have an easier schedule. We don't have anybody really ranked besides, we don't have Ohio State or Michigan in the regular season. That wasn't by choice. It's just because we have so many fucking teams in the Big Ten. The only hard game that Oregon has next year is Penn State on the road. So essentially Oregon could go undefeated. But again, you want to be battle tested and play, the good teams. But I don't know. We'll see what Dante Moore does. I think he'll be better than Gabriel. But again, it's all about, like you mentioned, getting 5-star, receivers and running backs, like Moore, and getting more additions from transfers and whatnot. But, I don't know. All I know is that it takes usually 6 to 12 years, even for the elite coaches, before they won their first natty. Dan Lanning is in year number 3. So I hope I don't have to go for 2 or 3 more years of misery and losing in the college football playoff before we get that natty. But whatever happens, happens. But I know Oregon is going to be good. We'll be a top 5 team for the next few years. It's just a matter of, can we get over the hump of some of these, upper echelon teams when it counts, like the Buckeyes, and only time will tell. Second and goal on the Texas 9. Howard was incomplete to Carnell Tate there on that previous play. But I definitely think Oregon could go, 12-0 or 11-1, especially when you don't have Michigan or Ohio State on the schedule. But if it was my choice, I would rather have Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State on the schedule every fucking year. We're not afraid of anybody. We just want to be able to play the best to get the best. Touchdown, Buckeyes! Judkins run for 9 yards. Extra point is up and good. 7-0 Ohio State. I see you. Look at that cutback by Judkins in that replay. Beautiful. Hit him with a little hezzy, and that's all she wrote. Quinshon Judkins, baby. They're making it look easy out there. I see you, Quinshon. Nice job. 7-0 Buckeyes. But really, honestly, going undefeated, it shows you is kind of overrated. It's much better to, not even make your, conference championship game, lose a couple times during the season, and then have an easier path in the playoffs. Because it looks like if you end up being undefeated or only have one loss and you end up being high on the rankings, you get penalized by having a month off. So if anything, it's probably better off to lose a couple times, once or twice, or 3 times, and then, see what happens as you get seeded, rather than being, 12-0 or 11-1, getting a bye, not playing for a month, and then get absolutely destroyed by a team that's got 2 losses or 3 losses that, may or may not be better than you. So unless they fix that, if that continues to be the same thing where they end up, not really rewarding the teams with the best records and it ends up giving them too much time off, again, then those teams are going to suffer and they're going to continue to lose. And if that ends up happening, then eventually, teams are going to put themselves in a position to not go undefeated, to maybe put their backup quarterback in, or to be able to play other players. Again, I haven't seen college football not really reward the best teams. I mean, again, in the NFL, if you're the best team, you get the bye, but you're not off for a fucking month. You're off for a week. So big difference there. Yeah, Aller. No, he's not good enough. Like I said, this quarterback class stinks this year. So again, Cam Ward might end up being the first pick in the draft. But again, if you don't have a good offensive line, a good offensive coordinator, you don't really have a lot of weapons. Even Cam Ward might, have some struggles, and I'm not really a huge believer in Shedeur Sanders. And there's a lot of other guys, that are going to be like project QBs, like Dylan Gabriel. He won't be a starter. He'll just be waiting in the wings as a backup. And when he does get his chance to start, I don't really see him being, Marcus Mariota or even Bo Nix or Justin Herbert. Those are our two best. I hope that he ends up, getting a chance to play for someone and making a name for himself. But, again, we overachieved this year with our players. Jordan James, Dylan Gabriel, Tez Johnson, Evan Stewart. So it's like we have, a lot of players that were good, but we didn't have anybody on the offense that was elite, like a Jeremiah Smith. And that's what really ended up killing us, this year, besides the 1 month off, as well as obviously the defense. Chip Kelly ended up picking us apart, and you got to give Chip Kelly and Ryan Day and the Buckeyes credit. And I don't really think Aller folded. Both quarterbacks had bad interceptions in the game. It just so happens that Aller had that one at the end, when the game was neck and neck. Sometimes it's better to make a mistake early than to make a mistake late. But again, you had, 2 interceptions there by Riley, in double and triple coverage. So it's not like, Riley Leonard played great and Aller just sucked. They both, played pretty good, but costly mistakes at the wrong time can cost you. First down and 10. Ewers, where are you at? 12 noon, you know what time it is? Time for a sack lunch. Yum, 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 yum. Ewers pass complete to Ryan Wingo. 22 yards, first down, Texas. And really, the battle of the line of scrimmage is going to be the key. Ohio State should win the line of scrimmage on the O-line and D-line. And again, if there's issues, it will be offensive line for Ohio State and offensive line for Texas. We really have to keep an eye on those two positions. Yeah. Well, number one in takeaways and number one in points off takeaways. Ohio State is number one in 4 categories. Notre Dame is number one in 2 categories. And it's not going to be a surprise when those two teams end up meeting in the Natty, more than likely. Ewers incomplete to Wisner. Second down and 10. Nice play by Wingo on the previous play, getting that burst. But really, the main difference is Notre Dame and Marcus Freeman. That really, shows you he's got the heart of a champion. And again, normally in maybe years past, Notre Dame would have no shot, even in the Manti Te'o era. But it kind of makes you feel that, even though Notre Dame will be the underdog to probably either one of these two teams, they have a chance to do it. They got enough talent on their roster this year, offense and defense, to win it all. And I don't think we've ever been able to say that besides the Lou Holtz era, back like in the 80s, where maybe they had a team similar to this. It's been a long time where you've had an offense and defense like this look as good as they look like Notre Dame. I'll start there on Texas, 3rd down and 12 on the OSU 44. And the crazy thing is Notre Dame's only loss is to NIU, Northern Illinois, when they lost by a couple points, like 16-14 or something of that nature. So, how the hell does that happen? But again, it shows you that anyone can beat anybody on any given Saturday. Crazy stuff can happen, and you can have a bad game. It just depends on, when you have the bad game. And unfortunately for Oregon, our bad game came at the worst possible fucking time. It's better to lose early than to lose late. One bad half ended our season. So Quinn Ewers sacked by Tumalala. It's 12 noon. You know what time it is? Time for a sack lunch. Yum, 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 yum. And you know what's crazy? JT and Emeka Egbuka are from the state of Washington, just a few hundred miles away from me here in Oregon. Can you imagine if JT on the defense for the Buckeyes and Emeka Egbuka, the wide receiver on the offense, would have signed on for the Huskies? How incredible that would have been, or if they would have came to Oregon. Imagine that kind of talent level. But if Ohio State is calling your number, right, you're definitely not going to hang up. You're going to go there, right? No worries. Captain, appreciate you. And we got a punt. Going back to the Buckeyes, baby. Thank you so much. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks, little Cactus Jack, bang, bang. JT, best player on that defense besides Jack Sawyer, baby. Let me know what you want to do for photos, and I got you. 40-yard punt by Kern. Innes at the OSU 8, first down and 10. And it sounds like Ewers is not going to be going back to college, even though there's like a $5 or $6 million NIL deal available for him to, either go to the Buckeyes or Michigan or Oregon. But it sounds like this is going to be, his last game, unless they win and they go to the Natty. But this is going to be his last year, and then he'll end up going in to the NFL. But again, even with Ewers, if the offensive line is bad, it's not like, it's going to be the situation that we have right now with Jaden Daniels and Bo Nix and Michael Penix Jr., and then you still got, Drake May, Caleb Williams, and J.J. McCarthy. We got to kind of wait and see. Drake May flashed, but they don't really have a whole lot to work with. J.J. McCarthy's been injured, so we don't really know how good he's going to be at any point. And then obviously with Caleb Williams, being on the Chicago Bears kind of stinks because if you got a bad owner, you got a bad GM, you got bad coaches, bad coordinators. Caleb definitely held onto the ball too long. I'm not going to call him a bust, because it's just year number one, but he definitely isn't going to be the best quarterback in the class. The most NFL-ready guys were going to be Bo Nix, Jaden Daniels, and Michael Penix Jr., and that's the benefit of staying in college for 4, 5, 6, 7 years, because when you end up staying longer, you get more experience. If you only play a year or 2 years or 3 years, you're going to be at a huge disadvantage. You look at AR on the Colts. Again, limited experience in junior high, high school, and college ball. He just doesn't have it. And again, some guys, they might have the athletic ability, they might have a great combine, but at the end of the day, if you don't have enough games, and playing time under your belt, it's going to really come up and, bite you in the ass. And, I hope that AR can get better, but that's a great example of a guy that didn't have enough experience, in his football career. And then obviously being on a team like that where they need to do kind of a rebuild. Sometimes you pick the right players, sometimes you don't. And sometimes you got to be able to, just understand that you made a mistake, and then you have to look for that next leader and that next guy moving forward. (7-0) Buckeyes. I got you. Howard complete to Jeremiah Smith for 3 yards. Second down and 7 at the OSU 11. Let me just get you these 2 quick ones now, and then I'll call the game. And then once we go into a commercial, I'll get you a few more. Appreciate you. And whoever ends up getting Tyler Warren, it's like the Swiss Army knife, like Taysom Hill. A guy that can play multiple positions, tight end, wide receiver, offensive line. Another Brock Bowers waiting in the wings, and I can't wait. Obviously, the Colts need a tight end. The Seahawks need a tight end, and that would be a great fit for either one of those 2 teams. And again, if you end up getting that player, that jersey will sell, and it will sell very well. Howard pass complete to Tate for 13 yards. First down, Buckeyes. Move the chains. Yeah, but you don't need a tight end as much as those other teams. You still got, a few players, Foster Moreau and, Jawan Johnson, so it's like you still got some talent at the position. For the Colts and for the Hawks, they don't got anybody, unless you think Noah Fant is good enough, but that's not fucking good enough. We know that. Howard. Run for 2 yards at the OSU 26, second down and 8 for the Buckeyes. They've been going to Tate a lot in this matchup so far. Tate, Emeka Egbuka, Jeremiah Smith, and they got Judkins at running back. I mean, they just got so many weapons, a plethora of weapons. But right now, you got to give a lot of credit to the offensive line for the Buckeyes because, again, that's what's going to win this game. The line of scrimmage, O-line and D-line play has been dominated by the Buckeyes. Play action fake. Howard's got all day and all night. Travion Henderson, another player, 22 yards at the OSU 48. First down, Buckeyes. Move the chains. Let's go. I mean, Ryan Williams is an amazing wide receiver as a freshman for Bama as well. But Jeremiah Smith, he got that Jay Jetta, Jamar Chase in him. It's just crazy that he's on Ohio State and he's not on LSU, because we know LSU is kind of where the wide receivers go to turn into superstars. But Ohio State is known for good wide receivers as well, right? Michael Thomas, Chris Olave, now Jeremiah Smith. Look at Henderson. Wow. Unbelievable. Will Howard pass complete to Scott. 14 yards. First down, Buckeyes. If Texas can't, at some point get to Howard, this one is going to be a rout, just like it was with Tennessee and Oregon. And Texas has got a lot of, NFL talent, and Sarkisian is a good coach and a great play caller. But again, if you're going to beat Oregon the way that you did, I don't see really any team beating Ohio State. I mean, I really like what Notre Dame has done this year, but to me, Ohio State looks like they're the best team in the land. But again, if you are in the Natty, which Notre Dame is, they will have a shot. But that defense is going to play the game of their life. They're going to have to play like Oregon did at Autzen early in the year. And if they can play like that and, make it difficult for Howard at times and get pressure on him, then you're going to have a chance against the Buckeyes. But if you're just going to let him sit back there and dink and doink, you're fucked. Ohio State penalty, unsportsmanlike conduct by Travion Henderson. Second down and 24. Self-inflicted wounds. You can't be doing that. And we're winding down the first quarter here, and it's been all Buckeyes. I mean, Henderson is awesome. Judkins is awesome. Emeka Egbuka is awesome. Tate is an above-average receiver. Jeremiah Smith, the best player probably playing in this game besides Jack Sawyer and obviously JT on that defensive line. We know Texas has got, Quinn Ewers and a few others. But, again, when you can end up, matching up with Oregon and winning the way that they did at the Rose Bowl, no other team would have done that to Oregon. And again, Chip Kelly, he's in his bag right now. And again, if for any reason, if they decide to move on from Ryan Day, they already got their head coach waiting in the wings calling the plays. A little jab there by Henderson. You can't be doing that. Will Howard run for a loss of 2 yards. Third down and 26. This drive is going in the opposite direction. Come on, Buckeyes. But I just like watching greatness, and I love evaluating talent from the high school, the college level as well. Again, that's how I'm able to come up with so many predictions that are correct, because of the film that I watch and the articles that I read. Howard pass complete to Quinshon Judkins for 5 yards. Fourth down and 21 at the 49. And that's end of the first quarter. 7-0 Buckeyes. But at least Texas isn't down, 20 or 30 points like Oregon was. So, again, they're definitely getting manhandled in the line of scrimmage. But all it takes is one Quinn Ewers big play, at quarterback to get the game tied up. So, again, Ohio State in firm control, but not over just yet. That quarter was quick. Lots of running the football to bleed the clock. I agree. All right, try to get a few more photos up here for Captain. He could be doing that for you on Sundays for the Colts or the Hawks. I mean, if I didn't have Cade Otton, I would love to have him on the Buccaneers. Fast first quarter. Appreciate you. Yeah, nice for him to be able to get the award for first team All-Pro from the right side and the left side. First time any player has done that. And we already know, Pro Bowl is kind of a joke. They usually don't pick the right player, but All-Pro, that's really the award that, the players and fans recognize as, the reward and the award for being the best. But sometimes they even get the All-Pro status wrong. Like if you end up looking at, certain numbers of, guys like Penei Sewell compared to Lane Johnson. Lane Johnson's numbers were better, but Penei Sewell is a little bit more popular, player at this time. So sometimes, even though they have a couple options, for the All-Pro, sometimes, they don't get the right one picked. Sometimes, they go based off popularity. Sometimes they go based off stats, and sometimes they just go based on the people that are voting. So. Yeah, Lacey's going to jail. So if you're in a hit and run and you run away from the cops, jail. So no NFL. That's why you don't do a hit and run, kill someone, and then end up running away and fleeing the scene. Don't call anybody, and then decide that you're going to go to the NFL draft 2 days later. Career over. John in the building. What's good? Come on, my guy. You need to be able to get up on your reading, saying names like Kyron Lacey when you don't even know what's going on. Come on. Credibility, 0. Come on, my guy. We're not average here. We're fanatics. You need to get on your reading, boy. 7-0 Buckeyes. Weisner run for a loss of 1 yard, second down and 11 on the Texas 24. And he dropped the football too. Come on, Texas. Yeah, well, what NFL team is going to want to hire a criminal? Because that, if you're going to do that, and when you're in college, no NFL team is going to want you. You fucking killed somebody. What do you mean? Just want to ignore it? Come on, my guy. There's no pushing it to the side like when something so serious like that happens. Oh, I just ended up, killing someone in a car. No big deal. Let's just push it to the side. It'll pass. Come on, my guy. Viewers pass complete to Blue for no gain. Second and 21. I mean, it's one thing if it's like a hit and run or you're racing, but if it ends up killing somebody, that is not a good look. Viewers pass complete to DeAndre Moore Jr. for 10 yards at the Texas 24, third down and 11 on the Longhorn 24-yard line. Yeah, but you got to take responsibility. I mean, regardless if you're like an LSU fan or a Saints fan, if you guys fuck up, own up, man up, instead of just trying to act like it's not a big deal or run away from the problems, I mean, just because we like certain players that go to our favorite teams in college and the NFL, there's no excusing that kind of fucked up behavior. And again, if you're willing to do that fucked up behavior in college, what do you think is going to happen when they go to the NFL and get that bag? They're just going to end up in jail or in trouble at some point. There's a reason why these guys, some of them, end up having kind of a certain pass, and it follows them. 12 noon, you know what time it is? Time for a sack lunch. Yum, 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 yum. Texas with a punt. That offensive line stinks. Yeah, we don't want another Henry Rugg situation. And not only did Ruggs kill a woman, he killed the dog that was in the car as well. So some people can handle the bag and responsibility, and other people can't. All right, Buckeyes, 7-0, Ohio State. And Texas normally, can put up points very easily. But it shows you when you end up going against an opponent that really does have a strong front seven, and if the secondary has been playing pretty good as well, that ends up usually, finding a way to make the game a little bit lower scoring than maybe originally anticipated. We know Texas and yours, if they play a bad defense or a middle of the pack defense, they could have already been at, 14, 17, 20 points at this point. But, when you're playing the Buckeyes, who are number one in 4 different statistical categories on defense, that offensive line, again, it's going to be O-line, D-line, defense, coaching, play calling. But really the winner of the game is going to be the battle at the line of scrimmage, just like any game is in the NFL or college football. And Ohio State is checking off those boxes very easily here today. We're at 11, 89 to go. 5 more likes at 20. Let's get there, baby. And if you're just coming in, Judkins with that first study, 7-0 Buckeyes. You got another player that you want to be able to see besides Tyler Warren, captain, for your dono? Let me know and I got you. 28 left. Now 12-23. Will Howard passing complete to Tate for 7 yards. 2nd down and 3 on the Buckeye 41. Again, we already know that they're, double covering and kind of shadowing, Egbuka as well as Jeremiah Smith. So it's going to give an opportunity for Tate to be able to make some plays, and he's taking full advantage. 2nd and 3 on the Buckeye 41. Oh, Matthew Golden. That's not good. And it shows you injuries are a killer in this college football playoff. If you end up having your starting running back or receivers go down with injuries, Texas obviously now with Golden, Oregon had a few injuries to not only running backs but wide receivers. And again, if that ends up happening at the worst possible time, the other team is going to capitalize off those injuries 100%. Will Howard pass incomplete. 2nd down and 10 at the OSU 46. I mean, I think that if the Buckeyes defense, if it wasn't as good, as they are, Texas would have already tied this game up. or possibly would have had the lead. But it shows you the depth that the Buckeyes have. Tate getting a lot of looks. And they finally almost get to Howard, but, too little, too late. They get him on the ground. But the offensive line for the Buckeyes has played great up to this point. Flag comes out. Kazmarek for 12 yards. Pass complete. Second down and 20. Now third down and 8 to the OSU 48. Yeah, that ain't going to happen. You already know the Saints are fucked, okay? You got to have better coaching. Right? Offensive line isn't the same as what it was. Offensive weapons, Carr is not the right fit for, obviously the quarterback. AK-41 is getting older. Olave is nice, but again, if you're looking at the defensive players, you guys don't have Lattimore anymore. You guys had your chance. You guys had the run where you had the NFC South crown for 4 years in a row, but that was a long time ago in that Drew Brees era. If anything, the Falcons and the Panthers, they're creeping. And at some point or another, if you guys don't get your shit together, you're going to finish in third place behind the Bucs and the Falcons for years to come if you guys don't get the right pieces of personnel locked in. We've won the NFC South 4 years in a row, and we're not looking to give it up anytime soon. And again, you have to take advantage when you end up having a special team, because if you don't, it might take a long, long time before you're that good again. And that's facts. Buckeyes with the punt. Let's see if Texas can get on the board at some point here before halftime. Cool kid in the building. What's good? That previous play going to Egbuka, but just out of reach. Buckeyes with the punt. Let's see what Texas can do here. And hopefully they can end up getting at least 3 to make it a little bit more interesting. Good punt there. 43-yard punt down at the Texas 9. 9:52 left in the second quarter. 7-0 Buckeyes. Yeah, but you have to realize, like, the what are the chances of being able to do, something extremely rare, hit on your coach and hit at your quarterback, and again, it's like, Jaden Daniels, there's a reason why he won the Heisman, and We know Michael Penix Jr. is going to be good. Bo Nix has already proven that he's on the Jaden Daniels level. Both of those guys have balled out right away. Now, it's still kind of a question mark for Caleb and Drake May. We don't really know about J.J. McCarthy at all because he didn't get a chance to play, right? But again, with the money that is already invested in some of the players there, it's kind of an aging team. They need to figure out a lot of things. Yeah, but that's not just good enough to be able to win the NFC South. Like, you get Glenn, that's not going to make a fucking difference. I mean, wishful thinking, but again, how many holes that you have on that team now. It's not like just one or two. There's a lot that needs to be cleaned up and fixed on that roster. That's why you have to take advantage as much as you can in that 4 to 5 year window and get as far as you possibly can. Because again, once you have to rebuild, if you don't have those same type of players and coaches, you don't have Sean Payton, you don't have Drew Brees, you don't have success. And that's, the bottom line, like if they don't get their shit together, they're going to finish in third place. And then pretty soon the Panthers are going to end up being on their level, And that's not talking shit. That's just the reality. Right now the Bucs are at the top. The Falcons are 2. The Saints are 3 for now. But the Panthers are, getting better. And if they can get the right coach and the right personnel, who knows? At some point, the Saints might be last in the NFC South, and maybe that's what needs to happen for them to get the right quarterback or the right coach, at that point. But I know it's kind of a harsh reality, but, it shows you, like Michael Thomas ain't shit, without Drew Brees, even though he thought he was going to be the best wide receiver in the game, Sometimes, the quarterback makes the receiver, not the other way around. So. $7-0 Buckeyes. Yeah, Carr is a terrible fit for that team. Anyone that has a brain that can see that shit, that's not a good fit. Like, there's going to be plays where he can make, but again, it's just not a natural fit for the Saints and what they're typically known to do. I wouldn't want Carr on my fucking team. It's a bad fit. All right, Texas. Handoff up the gut. Decent game there. Second down. Wow, look at Sark's stats from way back in the day at BYU. Two rushing yards, huh? I ain't going to cut it. 2nd and 3, handoff. First down, Longhorns. Move the chains. Shotgun set, Ewers. Will play action fake. Protection is good on that play. Ooh, he got popped. Oh, my. First down, Longhorns. Oh, boy, might be concussed. What a pop there by the Buckeyes. Is that Styles? Ooh. And he dropped it. Incomplete. Ewers pass complete to Moore for 4 yards. 3rd down and 6 at the Texas 24. I mean, I like Rashid Shaheed and Olave. I mean, you guys, and Taysom Hill. It's like you guys have some pieces. AK-41, Cameron Jordan's getting a little bit older. I've always loved Demario Davis, a.k.a. the glue. Maybe the most underrated linebacker in the game. Even though I'm a Bucs fan, I'm not a hater. I appreciate the greatness, but Lattimore now on the Commandos, and you've seen the problems on the defense. It's not the same type of defense that we're accustomed to in that 4-year run where they were winning the NFC South and they had like the most wins out of any team in the NFL in that Breeze era. Things have changed. It's been a long time since they've been good, even though it just seems like yesterday when they were, number one in the NFC South. But one thing I will say as a Bucs fan, you guys did get robbed, and you guys should have won a Super Bowl the year you guys played the Rams and they had that bullshit call. That was your guys' year. That was the year that you guys would have played the Pats and you would have won the Super Bowl, in my opinion. That was the one where we got that Rams-Pats like 13-10 Super Bowl. That was super low scoring. It still could have been lower scoring, but I could definitely have seen the Saints winning the Super Bowl like 20-17 or something of that nature. I definitely could have seen them winning the Super Bowl that year. They definitely had the team to do it. We got an injury, man down. Oh, I hope he's okay. That didn't look good based off the replay, but hopefully he's all right. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 20 here within the first hour and a half, 30 to 50 if we get the algorithm and the volume. And obviously, we want to shoot for 100 in the donos on every single stream. We're at 11, 89 to go to hit the goal. Let's get it, baby. Jacob in the building. What's good? And we'll definitely be able to watch Arch's development in the future. He definitely is raw. He's got some scrambling ability and whatnot, but he's just not there yet. But it'll be exciting to see him be the starter next year and see if he can improve his game. I mean, he had some moments where he looked pretty good and in control, but other times looked really lost out there. And that'll happen when you're a freshman or a sophomore. But when you got the Manning name, you've got unlimited access to NFL players, let alone Eli and Peyton. I couldn't ask for, better mentors, especially when all of them are quarterbacks. What's good, Jacob? Kind of crazy that this game is kind of playing out a little bit similar, not at this point, but, kind of a slow start, just like in that Notre Dame Penn State, when they were up by 10 and, it took them, all the way to the end to get that field goal to make it, 10-3? And to have Texas and this amazing offense and a 0, it shows you like how good Ohio State is on the O-line and the D-line, specifically on that defense too. But Quinn Ewers might end up being the best quarterback in the draft class, or one of the best, with Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders, and he can't even do anything. JT obviously in the medical tent. Hopefully he's okay, because that's their best defensive player besides besides Jack Sawyer. So we'll see if this will be the opening that Texas needs. But they got their star receiver that's injured as well. Shotgun set. Ewers towards the sideline, incomplete. No rhythm with his receivers, tight ends, or running backs so far. But at least they're not down big like they, like Oregon was in the previous matchup. Texas with the punt. Travion Henderson run for no gain. Second down and 10 at the OSU 35. Texas is looking very, very mid, aren't they? They don't look very good. But again, it shows you if you got a good O-line and a good D-line, and again, you're winning that line of scrimmage, you can make any superstar team look very, very average or below average. But also, Texas's defense hasn't given up that big play to Jeremiah Smith yet like they did to Oregon. So you got to give them some credit. Even though the Texas offense hasn't been able to get the job done, the defense has done pretty good to hold Ohio State to only 7 at this point. But we still got 8 minutes left, and we'll see if the Buckeyes can add on. I mean, this is the best Notre Dame team that they've had. They'll have a chance. Again, if they didn't have number one in points, and number one in points off turnovers and number one in turnovers. I mean, they do have some stats that are at the top in college football for defense. Like Ohio State has quite a few, and Notre Dame's got a couple categories where they're number one. So you never know. I mean, again, I would assume Ohio State's going to win it all. But I don't think it's going to be a blowout. Like I think Notre Dame's defense has proven that, they deserve to be where they're at. But again, no affiliation to a conference, no conference championship. JT there on the sideline. Hopefully he'll be okay. But it shows you it's not who you play when you play them. And again, if you're hot, that's really all that matters. Hot and healthy. All right, Captain. Tomorrow, Steelers and Ravens at 5, Commanders and Bucks at 5 on Sunday, and then we're going to do Vikings and Rams and Monday Night Raw on Netflix on Monday. We'll do the Rams and the Vikings as the main stream, but I'll definitely have Netflix on for Monday Night Raw. Howard pass complete to Scott for 7 yards, 3rd down and 13. I'm going to make a little bet here for Paisley. Give me a second. Self-inflicted wounds. False start by Montgomery. Sloppy game here so far for the Buckeyes, but again, each team has got an amazing offense. Obviously, the Buckeye defense is better than Texas, but they're hanging around. 3rd down and 18 on the OSU 27, 6:22 left. Howard pass complete to Tate, 15 yards, 4th down and 3. I'm not sure if you got credibility on this channel, my guy, talking about Zion being the face of the NBA. I think you lost all your credibility after that statement. But I do agree. I think Ohio State is going to win the Natty. But, I mean, anyone that watches even a minimal amount of football could say that. I don't know. I mean, maybe some people aren't into college football as much as the NFL, depending on what people got going on a Friday night or a Thursday night. But some of us, we live for this, and just as much as the NFL playoffs. And some people, maybe they don't care about the college football playoffs or college football as much. But especially when you got a lot of talent that might be on your favorite team on Sundays. why not watch? You know, it's a good product this year. It's been better than the NFL overall from top to bottom. I mean, besides the occasional Lions-Bills game where it's must-see TV. Ohio State with another punt. Texas defense holding strong, but they just can't move the football to get into the red zone. And we'll see what they can do. First down and 10 at the Texas 15. First down and 10 at the Texas 15, 5:22 left in the second. A little shocked by the score. You know, we know that the defenses can play in spurts, but I don't know if anyone anticipated a 7-0 game. Almost the same kind of defensive battle that we had with Penn State and Notre Dame. Defense wins games. Defense wins championships. And really the only score that we have so far with Judkins with the tutty early on in the first, 7-0 Buckeyes. Hungry for dinner? Hungry? All right, I'm going to go get my pup some dinner while we have this commercial break. Give me 1 sec. All right, I'm back. Golden's ankle. He's probably done for the night. Number 8 wide receiver prospect. And that's from Kuiper, and we know Kuiper isn't very right. So first down and 10, little screen pass. Isaiah Bond, the former Alabama Crimson Tide wide receiver. Ewers pass incomplete to DeAndre Moore Jr. Third down and 6. I mean, Texas needs points at somehow, some way, but even with an elite quarterback like Quinn Ewers, still they don't really have that Xavier Worthy type of player, that they need to be able to run the jet sweeps and the bubble screens and to kind of blow the top off. They don't have a Jeremiah Smith on that side. Now, if Xavier Worthy was still on Texas, then maybe this game is a little bit closer, even though they're only down 7, but it shows you the value of electric players, especially in the playoff. Like, you can have good players, but again, you have to have electric players, elite players to be able to make those big splash plays. And every once in a while, you'll get an average or an above average player that makes a huge play. But, even though big names, are out there, again, if you're not winning the battle of the line of scrimmage, you're not going to get a whole lot. Passing complete to Bond, 4th down. Another punt. Man, it's a punt party in this game. And I knew that the defenses would show up, but I didn't know it was going to be like this, where we're getting a similar type of matchup with Notre Dame and Penn State in the first half. And even that game had more points at this point. We were at, 10-3 at half? We only got 7 total in this particular matchup, but we'll see if the Buckeyes can get at least a field goal, with their drive. But both defenses playing pretty stout, having injuries on both teams, guys going to the locker room. But how do you drop that? What happened to my hands? Terrible. Come on, Bond, you bum. Yeah, why are you jumping, you idiot? Bond is a dummy. The fuck are you doing jumping in the air? Dumbass. Judkins run for no gain. 2nd down and 10 at the OSU 27. Howard pass incomplete to Judkins. 3rd down and 10. Yeah. And, like just like with Oregon, it's like you need to be able to have like those DeAnthonys, those LaMichaels, and having Tez and Evan Stewart and Jordan James. It just isn't good enough. You need NFL talent, and not only that, elite talent. And if you don't have those guys, you'll get exposed, especially if your O-line and D-line aren't doing their job. I mean, if you actually look at all the star power that we have on the offenses, there's no way in hell this game should be 7-0. Uh-oh, it's 12 noon. You know what time it is? Time for a Texas sack lunch. Yum, 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 yum. Sacked by Anthony Hill Jr., loss of 7. 4th and 17. I didn't think that this was going to be a punt party. I mean, obviously it's not really living up to the billing in the first half, but hopefully the second half will be better. But I don't know if you're going to get a 27-24 score. I mean, based on the defenses, we know they're going to get tired in the second half, but the way that this game is playing out, it might end up being like 17-14 final or something. This is crazy. No bots, no. 2-minute warning. That's why college football is crazy. You don't really know what you're going to get, game in and game out, like that game that Ohio State played against Oregon, right? And then now you're watching this game, and it's like the complete opposite. But that's the difference, though. Texas didn't have a month off. Timely sack lunch there for Texas, finally. They might have to throw Arch Manning in, and see what he can do. I mean, I know he's young and inexperienced to a certain degree, but, I mean, it wouldn't hurt them to see, what they might be able to get out of Arch to move the football. We've already seen one, first half here. Offensive line hasn't really done that great of a job. but maybe Arch can use his legs, or find maybe some seams with the wide receiving core that maybe Quinn was not able to see. But got 3 sack lunches by the Buckeyes, 1 for the Longhorns there. But if I'm Sarkisian, I'm not saying Arch Manning is going to be the quarterback for the whole second half, but I would definitely be putting him in, just at least for a couple drives to see if you can get some positive first downs and some positive yards. And obviously we know Arch is a better runner than Quinn Ewers. If you got that at your disposal, why not try? Just like when they Alabama, Nick Saban had Jalen Hurts, and then they benched him and they put in Tua. Remember that? Obviously from way back in the day. But if you have 2 capable quarterbacks, sometimes you got to be able to open it up and just see what the other guy can do. So 7-0 Buckeyes. I mean, this was supposed to be the offensive game. This was supposed to be the game where we got, 35-31, not 7-0 almost at halftime. I mean, this is the score that we would expect to have if it was Notre Dame and Penn State yesterday. But even them, they ended up getting 10-3. And those teams have good defenses also, and offenses that, can move the ball, but it took them some time, to kind of figure out tendencies and find weaknesses, and obviously defenses got tired in the second half, which I assume is going to happen in this game as well. But you haven't seen a Emeka Egbuka or a Henderson or Judkins, or Jeremiah Smith blow the top off yet, which might be a little surprising. But again, Texas is 13-2 for a reason. But I'll tell you what, if I'm Sark, why not? See what Arch can do. I mean, he is going to be your starting quarterback next year. And NFL starts tomorrow. We got Chargers and Texans at 1:30. That would be pretty exciting with Herbert and CJ Stroud. And then we'll be live for Steelers Ravens. And that'll be at 5 o'clock Pacific Sunday. Broncos and Bills at 10 a.m. Packers and Eagles at 1:30. And then we're going to do Commanders and Bucks on Sunday. Go Bucks. But I don't know if we're going to be able to win that game, but that's a good matchup. I think that's the most 50-50 matchup besides Chargers and Texans, at least on paper. Those look like the most even. And then on Monday, we got Vikings and Rams that they're going to move to Arizona. And obviously, we'll have Monday Night Raw on Netflix, week number 2. So definitely excited for these next 3 days. But hopefully we get a little bit more offense. And, I am a defensive-minded fan, but this is a little ridiculous. I love defense. I love interceptions. I love sack lunches. I love fumbles. Right? I love defense, but I don't know if anyone anticipated such a low-scoring game like this. Buckeyes with the punt. Ewers passing complete. Wisner, 3rd down and 10. Man, they can't move the ball at all. And again, you got to be able to run the football. And both of these teams have kind of given up on the running game, so to speak. They're throwing the ball way too much. When you got 18 attempts out of Howard, 16 attempts out of Ewers, but you don't got enough carries. Only 11 carries for the Buckeyes, 13 for Texas total. That's not enough. It's like JT looks like he's trying to get back into the game. The creativity and the play calling has been very vanilla, too. Ewers run for 9 yards to the 50-yard line. That's one of the better plays that Texas has had all first half. 4th down and 1. You got to go for it. There's no question about that. You're at the 50. This is your opportunity to get a 2-minute offense and to get 3, but hopefully for Sark, 6, so that way you can tie this up. Defense wins games. Defense wins championships. But you got to be able to open up the playbook. It's been very vanilla on both sides. I get it, feeling each other out and seeing how they're going to play you, but a little bit too vanilla. And just imagine, if Ewers is having this type of problem against the Buckeyes, what happens if he goes to a team that doesn't have an offensive line? It's just going to be like Caleb Williams, some splash plays, but you're going to have a lot of problems. Big dive there by Ewers on that previous play to the 50-yard line. Yeah. If Arch comes in, it's not going to be until the second half. They're not going to put him in now. No, they're try to measure. Come on, Buckeyes. Come on, Longhorns. I mean, this is the college football playoff. Fans deserve, more than 7-0. And I know we're going to get some better offense in the second half, just like in that Notre Dame-Penn State game. It was 10-3.5, and then we ended up with a 27-24 kind of game. So, I know it'll open up, but a little alarming, to see it so low scoring at this point. But I think the most alarming thing is that, Texas really with the play calling. And Sark is usually great with calling the plays. A little too vanilla, my guy. Yeah, but he's not inexperienced. He's actually played this season. So it's not that he's just related to Peyton and Eli. Like, he's gotten a chance to play this year. It's not like he hasn't. And honestly, he probably would, do better with his legs than Quinn Ewers. That's 100% fact. Now, throwing the football, I mean, if the offensive line is playing like they have been playing, then obviously you're probably not going to get a whole lot from either quarterback. But Arch is going to be the starter next year. And again, at times, he'll look better than Ewers. And at other times, he'll look like, a freshman. He'll look a little inexperienced. But Arch Manning is in. See what I tell you? I got the ESP, baby. Arch Manning run for 8 yards. First down. Texas. I watch a lot. I read a lot. I'm no dummy, And that was a good move. I messaged Sark. He put him in. And there you go. You got the first down. Yeah, well, if the game is 7-0, I mean, if you're familiar back with Saban, when they were, in a position to win it all, they had Jalen Hurts, and they had him in the first half. They benched him, and they put in Tua, and then Tua ended up winning the game for him. So, again, it doesn't matter, college football playoff, the natty, sometimes, decisions need to be made. And if you got a guy, that is capable to be able to use his legs and move the offense, you've already given Ewers a whole first half. He hasn't done anything. So, again, it's all about knowing your personnel and knowing what your players can do for you. And obviously, if Arch is the better runner, then you put him in the game. I messaged Sark. You put him in. Boom shakalaka. First down. Surprise? Not me. Good vision by Arch. First down and 10 at the OSU 42. And if they keep Arch in, I don't know if it'll be for just, a drive, but again, you might see Arch for the rest of the game. It's possible. I mean, again, how long are you going to go with Quinn Ewers, if you haven't been able to score any points? Do you really think that, all of a sudden magically he's just going to turn it around in the second half? Like, you got to be able to put up something to give the coach confidence, especially when you got a guy waiting in the wings, that's going to be the, face of the franchise and that has, had opportunities this year when he's played and he's looked pretty good. So, I mean, if they're not able to throw against Ohio State, then they're going to have to run. But it looks like Ewers is back in. Pass complete to Bolden, 24 yards. First down, Longhorns. There you go. I mean, it's pretty rare for a team to have two capable quarterbacks, to come in. And you got to think, I mean, we're not talking about any backup. We're talking about a guy that's related to Peyton and Eli. Think about the secrets that this guy has that no one else doesn't. So Ewers passing complete to Moore. And some of it is obviously Ewers, and some of it is the offensive line not giving him enough time. 2nd down and 10, but obviously they're close enough now to get at least 3. But again, if they want to be able to have a chance in this, they need 6. But even if they get it to 7-3, that's much better than 7-0 based on, the defenses. And, Texas's defense played pretty good, but the line of scrimmage has definitely been won by the Buckeyes. Timeout, Buckeyes. But a good throw by Ewers on the previous wide open little zone coverage, breaks a tackle. And again, those extra yak yards shows you that, they're missing that Xavier Worthy type of player that they had last year. Because if that's Xavier Worthy, that might be a touchdown. But good broken tackle using that strength and breaking away in that little spin move. Nice job by Silas Bolden. We'll see what they have dialed in here on 2nd down and 10 after the timeout. And again, once we go into the second half, the plays are going to be magnified. Anyone that fucks up with an interception, a fumble, it's going to be magnified times 10, especially with the score being so low and so close to each other. But you're definitely going to be able to, well, I would say not 100% you're going to get a field goal, because remember, Texas's kicker ended up missing a few kicks against Arizona State. So even if they're close, there is no guarantee that he makes those kicks. We assume that he'll make it, but he didn't look very good against the Sun Devils, against Cam Scadaboo. I mean, he had a couple missed kicks, so. I mean, that would be really deflating if they end up, going for a field goal right before the half ends and he misses. Especially, being at 7-0, and then it could have been 7-3 and momentum going in, even though it's not the momentum you want, but it's better than nothing. But if Texas kicks it and misses, that's going to be so big, but we don't have to worry about that. Ewers, the blue, touchdown, Longhorns. There's the offense, baby. Okay. All right, there we go. Finally, extra point is up by Stone, and it's good. 7-7. Wow, finally. Jeez. That shit took forever, huh? All right, Buckeyes got 29 seconds left. They'll see if they go into field goal range. Or if they just decide that this is good enough for them and they'll kneel it, and then we'll go into halftime tied up at 7. I don't think anybody anticipated such a low-scoring game, but I'm happy that Texas scored a tutty there with Ewers to blue to actually make this a close. It could be Texas. Obviously, Buckeyes have dominated this game, but the score says otherwise. And how do you let the receiver get behind you? Wow. What a throw by Ewers. There we go. Nice play by Jaden Blue. And sometimes that's all you need is one little mistake by the other team, and then bang. You've been stopped. It's a punt party. It's a punt party. And then finally, with 29 seconds left, you finally fucking get on the board, and now Texas is in the game. I mean, they were already in the game down 7, but now you feel very confident that Texas legitimately has a shot to be able to win this game. Nice job by Ewers, finally getting into the end zone there. I mean, I was hoping for like a 44-41 kind of game, or, 31-28, 34-31. But, I mean, based on what we have right now at 7-7, I mean, we might cap out at 24-20, 27-24, and I don't even know if we're going to get to that. I mean, based on how the defenses are playing, this might be a 17-14 kind of game when it's all said and done. We might not even have a team get over 20. Great throw. Great catch. Longhorns dancing. Zay in the building. What's good? All right, touchback. Let's see if they end up trying to get into some kind of position or if they just kneel it and say, fuck it, and going into halftime. But I think with I picked Ohio State and I picked Notre Dame, and, Ohio State should win the Natty, you would assume, but Notre Dame will have a shot because their defense is good this year. Oh, my God. Henderson, touchdown, Buckeyes. Holy fuck. Well, there you go. Instead of just saying, fuck it, Chip Kelly, we're going to kneel it, he said, fuck that, we're going to go for it. And again, that's why Chip Kelly is one of the best in calling plays in college football in 2024 and 2025. Oh my God. And that might be the difference in the game right fucking there. Unfucking believable. First down and 10. And then Howard, look at the blockers downfield, and unexcusable by Texas. And goodbye. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10, the 5. See you later. Texas, you lose the game. Just like that. Just when you feel good about yourself scoring with Quinn Ewers, the defense gives up the big play to Henderson. 75 fucking yards. Wow. Unbelievable. That's what happens when you end up getting a screen pass and you get blockers downfield. Everyone puts a hat on a hat, and then you end up surprising everyone. Unfucking believable. That's the big play that we've been waiting on all first half. That was awesome. Big screen pass from Howard to Henderson. 75 yards. Had 4 guys blocking downfield. Cut right in between the gap. And by the time he was at the 50, there was nobody there. Electric play by Travion Henderson. Wow. That was awesome. 75 yards for the tutty. Wow, unfucking believable. I mean, that gave me flashbacks from the Buckeyes to Oregon, just lightning fast, and again, Chip Kelly, he is a phenomenal play caller. It reminds me when we had him, back in the Chip Kelly era, and, I always knew in the back of my head, when Oregon would play, it's not like we're just playing Ryan Day and their players, we're playing against Chip Kelly. And if anyone knows how Oregon operates, it's him. And unbelievable. And again, it's not, necessarily who you play, it's when you play them. But the Buckeyes are definitely the best team left out of everyone. But again, Notre Dame will have a shot. But again, I feel like Notre Dame would have a better shot to win it if they played Texas. But again, against Ohio State, it probably will be close to a certain degree. But I mean, if they can operate like this, good night. 14-7 Buckeyes. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Let's keep track on the likes and the donos here in the chat. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. How many more do we need to be able to get to 20? We only need a couple more. Looks like we only need 4 more. So if you are, 3 more. Thank you so much. We need 3 more to hit the algorithm. So if you are in the room and haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Because the faster we hit 20, the faster we can hit the algorithm, and then we might be able to get a boost by YouTube. So appreciate you. And we're at 11:89 to go on the Dono train. I mean, a pretty slow, methodical first half. but an explosion there at the end with that 75-yard screen pass from Howard to Travion Henderson, and that might be the difference in this game. Huge play. Don't get caught lacking. You sleep for just a second, and they can score on you. Texas has got that ability as well, but again, Ohio State, they are the Ohio State University. Big Ten is the king of college football. Don't forget that. Ohio State, Oregon, Penn State, they are the real deal. First down, Longhorns with the chains. Little minimal gain there. First down and 10 with 7 seconds left on the Texas 38. Penalty on the Buckeyes for holding. First down and 10 now at the Texas 48. 2 seconds left. Now you got to try to do like a Hail Mary or a hook and ladder. Too bad they don't have like Xavier Worthy, because if you had a player like that, you could run the hook and ladder and you could maybe score off of it if you actually timed it up correctly. But they don't really have that type of splash player on this roster. And then obviously their top receiver is injured on the bench, on the sideline. Few seconds left with the holding on the Buckeyes here. Well, at least we got a little bit of excitement here at the end of the first half, because a little boring first half. It's been defense, but too many punts, for these type of teams that have such electric offenses. But again, we knew that at some point the electric plays are going to happen. Maybe a lot of us anticipated that being Jeremiah Smith, but again, it shows you what kind of talent this team has. And we're at halftime, baby. 14-7 Buckeyes. But that's also the thing, that the Buckeyes are so good that even if Jeremiah Smith has an off game, they can still win. And a lot of teams wouldn't be able to say that. So, like, even if Jeremiah Smith doesn't touch the football in the entire second half, the Buckeyes could still win, right? They got the depth. All right, we're at half. $14-7 Buckeyes. All right, I'm going to go check up on my pup, get some water and whatnot, get a snack, go use the restroom, do what you got to do, and then I'll be back here in a couple minutes, and then they'll go over some of the stats of the first half. Hopefully the first half isn't going to be like a half hour during halftime. Hopefully it'll be not too long, and then we'll get back into the third quarter here in just a few minutes. All right, my pup is sleeping on the couch. Looks like she's going to eat her dinner a little bit later. We still need to go on a long walk here later tonight. The pull up the stats here. All right, let's pull up some of the stats here. I mean, there's not a lot of stats to go over, obviously being a 14-7, but Will Howard, 14 for 19, 200 yards, 1 TD, no picks, so hasn't made that mistake yet. Quinn Ewers, supposed to be the better quarterback out of the two, 10 for 20, 133 yards, 1 TD, and no picks. So no mistakes yet by any of the quarterbacks. But really the difference now, obviously, is the running game, but still not enough yards. 44 total yards for Texas, right? 36 yards total, obviously, for the Buckeyes, because obviously the Travion Henderson was a screen pass, not a run. So you got 3 carries, 23 yards for Travion Henderson. Judkins has 5 carries, 20 yards, and 1 TD. And then Will Howard, 3 carries for -7. Obviously, when you get sack lunch, that shit happens. And then Travion Wisner, 8 carries, 33 yards, no tutties. And you had Arch Manning come in for 1 carry for 8 yards. And then Ewers, 4 carries, -9. Both quarterbacks, obviously, in negative yardage with the sack lunches. And then as we go to the receivers, Travion Henderson, 1 reception, 75 yards on that screen pass for the tutty. And that's really the difference. 14 receptions, 200 yards, and a tutty with Henderson there late before halftime. And then for Texas, 10 receptions, 133 yards, and they had a tutty there from Jaden Blue. But again, not really having the talent level at wide receiver is holding Texas back. They don't have a elite tight end or elite wide receivers, and that definitely is holding them back. But the thing that's keeping them in this game is the defense. Lots of punts so far on both teams. You got, how many do we have? Golly, seems like a billion for each team. 4 punts each for each player, McGuire and Kern for Texas and Ohio State, and we're at 14-7 Buckeyes. Yeah, Buckeyes got that speed. Like literally the last thing that you wanted to have happen before half is them, put up a score, and that might end up being the difference in the game. I mean, obviously it's at 14-7. I mean, I don't really think we're going to have too many points scored from here on out. I mean, it might end up being like a 28, 28-20, kind of final, something of that nature. But Texas just doesn't have the personnel right now to match up. Wide receivers and tight ends are almost, where are they? It's like your best option might be Arch Manning running the football. That's a problem. 14-7, Buckeyes. We're at half. And hopefully halftime isn't going to be too long here. I gotta give Chip some love. Super intelligent. Now, these bots are in full effect, huh? I don't know. Maybe it's just because this game is a little bit more high profile, I guess. I don't know. I'm going to take a look at some of the other scores that are going on in the sports world. Not a whole lot going on, but see if there's anything halfway decent. NBA slate looks pretty weak today. For the NHL. A weak slate on the NHL side, too. I mean, there's nothing really on right now. Men's college hoops, he only got one game, Maryland and UCLA in the top 25. Man, they're in full force today, huh? Yeah, some organizations, they don't know what they're doing. Again, it's you have to build the team from the inside out, and it shows you if you don't got a good owner, you don't got a good GM, you're not going to have good coaches, you're not going to have good coordinators. And that's going to mean that you're going to make mistakes in the draft and in free agency. And it's going to be a long time before that organization ends up being good again. 14-7 Buckeyes. But you know what I am looking forward to? There's another one of these, baby. This was fun. And again, doing these on Mondays, obviously we have the Vikings and Rams that are going to be playing, but I will be watching this on the TV, in the studio. So that way I can have two things on at the same time. So if we need to react to something big that's happening on Raw in week number 2 on Netflix, I can do that. So we'll definitely do the Rams Vikings play-by-play and call, but I'll still have this on the background. But doing this on Mondays is going to be a lot of fun, giving us something else to do since college football obviously is wrapping up, and then NFL playoffs are starting this weekend as well. So, before you know it, college football is going to be over. The NFL is going to be over, and then we're going to transition into NASCAR, March Madness, and then obviously baseball. And I'm itching for baseball. I know you are too, Sarah. So, but it'll be nice to have NASCAR on Sundays when the NFL is gone. And then March Madness, even if you don't give a shit about college hoops, it's exciting because it's, it is on the line, right? And anytime that you have something on the line, it makes the games more interesting. So, yeah, I really enjoyed I was hoping that first episode was going to go, 3 hours and 30 minutes instead of like a traditional only a couple minutes over 3 hours. But I think it was a great show, overall. And the Netflix era is going to be fun. It's too bad that we don't have SmackDown and NXT on Netflix also, because if those were on Netflix also, then that would be opportunities to do those on the live stream. And maybe one day when the contracts are up, through the other networks, that maybe we can have everything on Netflix and we can end up doing some additional streams. So. All right, baby, let's go. No, I haven't even watched season 1. But again, I will watch season 1 and binge it, and then I'll eventually watch season 2. But no, I haven't watched it yet. Probably one of the biggest shows that I still haven't watched. But I mean, I got a lot of other shows that, I'm watching True Blood from the beginning. I'm watching Walking Dead from the beginning, Shameless from the beginning. And then I got a bunch of shows that I'm watching weekly. But, at some point or another, I probably should start Squid Game, season 1, get it over with and binge it, and then do season 2. So. All right, second half. Hopefully we'll get started here in a moment. Halftime's has been way too long. Marco's in the building. What's good? For real, though, huh? What's up, bro? Are you at work? What's good with you? Kind of crazy how college football is, wrapping up here and whatnot. We're kind of, getting close to the end of the, playoff. And, again, Notre Dame punched their ticket against Penn State. Kind of a boring first half in that game. And, 10-3. And finally, Notre Dame, was able to gain that momentum in the second half. And the second half was much better than the first half. And then this first half was kind of boring with all the punts. But at least that screen pass to Travion Henderson got us off out of our seats at the end of the matchup here in the first half. But still a lot lower scoring and a lot less big plays than we were anticipating. It definitely has been a defensive battle in this game as well. But, based on, the Buckeyes personnel, they should win the Natty. If they don't, it would be shocking. If you're looking player for player, they're better than Texas and Notre Dame. But again, we'll just have to see what Ohio State shows up if they end up winning this game and they play Notre Dame. But hopefully it ends up being a good, Natty, not a blowout, but you never know. What's good with you, Marcos? If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help your boy out. Every like matters. If we can hit the algorithm and whatnot. See where we're at right now. We need one more like to get to 20. So if you haven't smashed that like button yet, there you go. Marcos, appreciate you, my guy. And Marcos is one of my longer friends that I've had here in Oregon, and still the only one that lives in Oregon that really watches and supports me regularly. And it means a lot, I still, a lot of my friends don't realize that I have the number one, sports wrestling YouTube channel in Oregon. Like, there's no one that's bigger than me. There's a couple channels that are bigger than me in Washington, but again, obviously the goal is to, have the biggest sports channel in Oregon, which we do, and then to have the biggest sports channel in the Northwest, the Pacific Northwest, that would include Oregon and Washington, and then eventually having the biggest sports and wrestling channel on the West Coast, Oregon, Washington, and California. But we're not there yet, but we're definitely making some steady ground. We're at 11, 89 to go. Let's go, baby. But hopefully your mental health is good. Hopefully the job is good. I've seen a few posts with your kids, so I'm glad that you're able to see them and hang out with them. And I think the last post that I seen was for a birthday party. So hopefully your kids are doing good as well. I miss you, and hopefully we can get together at some point, for a beer or a game or something. I don't really hang out with too many people anymore. I mean, I'm spending time with my pup. Pretty much every day. We're doing about an hour and a half to 2 hours of walking a day, morning, afternoon, and night. And then when I'm not spending time with Paisley, I'm on the channel, reading, doing film study, behind the scenes, and then obviously streaming pretty much every day. So tomorrow we'll be live for the Steelers and Ravens. Sunday night, the Commandos and the Buccaneers, go Bucks. And then Monday night, we got the Vikings and the Rams, as well as Netflix Monday Night Raw. So we're definitely going to be busy. And then we'll transition into some NASCAR in February, March Madness in March. And then we'll be back at doing Seattle Mariners in April, hopefully all the way to October. So when one season ends, football season, and it'll tap into NASCAR and March Madness, and then baseball. Can't wait. All right, here we go. Second half, baby. My boy, Marcos Pineda. And these bots are out of control. It's like, what do they think, that I'm not going to notice it's a bot because they got fucking emojis afterwards? Get out of here. Stone kickoff, fair catch by Emeka Egbuka. The Buckeyes with the ball here. And we'll see if Texas has anything left. You know, obviously their defense played pretty good besides that Travion Henderson play that they gave up. But again, the offense has been very stagnant and very quiet against this Buckeye defense. And remember, JT got hurt for a few drives. So it shows you the depth of the Buckeyes and the Longhorns defensively, making it harder to be able to move the football. And we've seen both of these teams play bad teams and mid teams and put up 30, 40, 50, 60 points. But when you play each other, you know, obviously it ends up being more of a defensive battle here in the college football playoff, not only with Notre Dame and Penn State, who are great teams this year, but also with the Buckeyes here and the Longhorns. Yeah, I mean, if we're going to have all these bots, we might as well have 1,200 likes and end up having a shitload of people in the room, you know, like when we had on that one stream. So Henderson run for 7 yards. First down, Buckeyes. Emeka Egbuka on that first play. Henderson on the second play. They're moving the chains already. I would like to see a little bit more of Arch Manning. You know, again, even if it's just implementing him for a couple drives, just as, you know, even if it's just for running plays. But again, obviously when Arch comes in, most of the time they know when he comes in to run. You know, and if he could end up tricking them and maybe doing a play action for a pass, that could be a game-changing play. But we'll see if Sark implements him at all in the second half. He had that one rush, you know, for a first down. They took him out. Next play, Quinn Ewers threw a touchdown pass. So, you know, again, if you end up having a capable backup that can help you win, you know, why not, you know, throw him in a little bit? You know, it's not like Quinn Ewers has done enough to win this game up to this point, only putting up 7. But I guess it could be worse. He could have 0. Ohio State moving the chains. Howard intercepted. Oh, baby. Loss of 3 yards, but that's exactly what they fucking needed. There we go. There we go, Longhorns. Fucking hey, somebody woke up. I was waiting to see who was going to have the first interception. And I was assuming it was going to be Quinn Ewers, you know, maybe off a tipped pass. But wow. Okay. Ewers pass complete to Weisner for 11 yards. Here we go. That's exactly what Texas needs to get back into this game. They need to win the turnover battle in the second half, or it's fucking over, and it might get ugly. So that's exactly what they needed. Weisner run for a yard, second down and 9 on the Texas 41. You threw into double coverage in that soft zone, and Texas obviously got pressure on Howard. He got hit while he threw the football. First big mistake for the Buckeyes here in the college football playoff in the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic. There you go. I just want a good game, you know, just like we got with Notre Dame and Penn State. And again, if Texas has any chance of pulling off this upset, they need more plays like that. Look at the zone. And he's sinking, cluing, using his eyes, reading the quarterback's eyes, and that's just great defense there by Texas. A rare mistake by Will Howard. Same kind of thing happened yesterday with Aller as well as Notre Dame's quarterback as well. Ruthless. It's the ruthless aggression era. Wisner run for a loss of 2 yards. And again, Texas doesn't have Bijan Robinson. Texas doesn't have Xavier Worthy. That's what they need to win this game. Players like that. Someone that they can rely on to pound the rock like Travion Henderson and Judkins. They don't have it. And they don't have that speed guy like Xavier Worthy, which they need, which they don't have like Jeremiah Smith or Emeka Egbuka. And so it shows you you can still be a good team, but there's going to be a difference between being good or being championship worthy. Yeah, Adonai Mitchell, another one. Yeah, exactly. It's they don't really have those splash players on Texas this year. Ewers pass complete to Wisner again. 4th down and 7. And it looks like all that for nothing. Good defense by JT. Tuiamamalolo. And that's kind of, I feel like Texas's bugaboo, like Oregon. We have guys that are good, but we don't have guys that are elite. And you really need elite guys, especially when you're this deep into the college football playoff, whether it be a BCS or this new format. You need electric players, and the team that typically has the most electric players is going to win. Good defense by the Buckeyes. Zay likes that. All right, Buckeyes. We're still waiting on that big Jeremiah Smith play. Or a big Emeka Egbuka play. Simon down. Hopefully he's okay. Current punt for 45 yards. Fair caught by Innes. 1st down and 10 at the Buckeye 12. Yeah, fantastic stop after the turnover. I mean, that's the best case scenario for them. It didn't lead to a field goal. It didn't lead to 6. All that for nothing. Even Notre Dame, and Penn State have better offenses than Texas. It's you got Ewers, you got Arch Manning, but you really don't have anybody you can trust at running back, wide receiver, or tight end on this Longhorn team. And obviously the defense doesn't have a guy like Byron Murphy, like they've had. Obviously got drafted there by the Hawks and whatnot. But again, no Byron Murphy, no Adonai Mitchell, no Bijan Robinson, no Xavier Worthy. And those are the kind of guys that you're going to need to be able to win against a Buckeye team. And if you don't have those guys, then you might be able to score a little bit like they have today, 7. But that ain't going to be enough to win this game. And you're going to have to put up 20-plus to win this. And Texas doesn't look like they can even get to 20 in this game. All right, Buckeyes, your turn. I see you, Chip. Still waiting on a play like this. Hopefully we'll get it before the game ends. Or maybe he'll be saving it for the Natty against Notre Dame. All right, baby, 14-7 Buckeyes. Can't believe we only have 2 college football games left and the fucking season is over. Or at least we got the NFL starting tomorrow with the playoffs, and it's a pretty good slate for Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So, yeah, I mean, again, it's just a dumpster fire there. Again, you got to get rid of the GM, got to get rid of the coaches, got to get rid of the players. I mean, hell, even Pat is not on board anymore. So obviously, things are really bad when you have a former player as famous as Pat that's like, fuck this. So, hopefully one day, they'll be, getting the right people in play. But really, it's more important to have good people at the top rather than players. Because, again, the players will be handled, if you have good people at the top evaluating. But if you don't have good people at the top, then everything is going to trickle down and it's not going to be good. So, and hopefully it'll get better for you. But it seems like you guys got a long ways to go. Howard, a little check down. Judkins run for no gain on 3rd and 1, 4th down and 1. And now it looks like Ohio State's going to have to punt. Texas's defense showing that, hey, we're not giving up yet. We're waiting for that big Arch Manning, Quinn Ewers, or maybe they're waiting for a pick six or a fumble for a touchdown or a special teams touchdown. I mean, the offense doesn't really have the players, to score, but the defense is trying like hell to keep it close. But eventually they're going to get gassed and get tired. But you got to give the defenses a lot of credit in this game. They've been playing magnificent. Offense has been a little stagnant on both teams. We expected a lot more out of both offenses. But when defenses are this good, this is what fucking happens. Defense wins games. Defense wins championships. It may not be, everyone's cup of tea being, so low scoring, but, it is what it is. I think really the real statement would have been is that you shouldn't have drafted AR, a guy that had such inexperience in college. You should have went for a different player. I think that would have put you guys in a better position, but, coulda, woulda, shoulda. Not every, draft pick ends up panning out. So. All right, Texas, your turn. Michael in the building. What's good? Get better, my guy. Weisner run for 4 yards. Third down and 11. Ooh, almost picked there by the Buckeyes on the previous plays. Third and 11 on the Texas 32, 14-7 Texas. I haven't seen Texas's offense look so below average or average in a long time, but you know, Buckeyes defense and Notre Dame's defense will make teams look average all day. I mean, again, and it shows you, I mean, if Ewers goes to the NFL and goes to a team that doesn't have an offensive line, doesn't look that promising as a prospect. You know, again, like Bo Nix, you know, Jaden Daniels, Michael Penix Jr. look a hell of a lot better than him, you know, going in. I mean, he might be able to be like Caleb and Drake May and J.J. McCarthy, where they have splash plays, but they don't look very good. You know, that's kind of what I'm feeling out of Quinn Ewers. Like, I like Cam Ward a hell of a lot more than Ewers, and you know, Ewers is kind of going down, you know, draft stock in my eyes. You know, I'm not a real big believer out of Shedeur Sanders either, even though I know he's got some athleticism and his dad is Dion and whatnot, but quarterback class stinks this year. Weisner trying to make a play there. Let's see, any knees go down? Yeah, knee is down. That's close. Ball was out of his hands when the knee went down, but damn, let's look at this again. Wow. That looks like a first down, barely. First down, Texas. I mean, we're talking about fucking like inches there before the knee goes down. Wow. This quarterback class is terrible. Let's be honest. I mean, when you see good quarterback classes, I mean, and you even go back, the Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, and Justin Fields, and Mac Jones, and Trey Lance. Remember how everyone thought that was one of the best quarterback draft classes? And, these guys are going to be so great. And even Trevor Lawrence isn't that good. Like, you know, he's like a top 15 quarterback, not top 10. So that was supposed to be one of the best quarterback classes, but it ended up being one of the worst. And supposedly out of those 5 guys, like people thought 3 or 4 of them were going to pan out. I knew better, you know, but again, people love to argue. But again, not every quarterback that's good in college is going to be good in the NFL. Facts. But Bo Nix, you know, and Jaden Daniels, they are the truth, just like Michael Penix Jr. This last class might be compared to the Phillip Rivers, Eli Manning, and Roethlisberger draft, where you had those big 3. Ewers, screen. Blue, 5-yard gain, second down and 5 on the OSU 48. I mean, I feel bad for the teams that are needing a quarterback in this, you know, draft class, because even Cam Ward isn't guaranteed, but he's probably the best one out of them all. Cam might end up being the first pick in the draft. But, you know, if you look at the top 10, a lot of bad teams that have a lot of holes. No guarantees, you know, that players are going to pan out. Another screen. Good tackle there by the Buckeyes. Blue run for 9 yards to the Buckeye 42. First down, Texas. Yeah, Shedeur seems just like he's about me and money. You know, he's like, it's more about his image and like, you know, Instagram posts and, you know, flashing the watch and everything. Like, I don't think he really, you know, is really, you know, focused on the game, you know, and I wouldn't pick him if I was a GM. Good run by Wisner there. And then the next play to Wisner, loss of 2 yards, second down and 12 to the Buckeye 44. Ewers pass complete to Wisner again, 11 yards, third down and 1 on the Buckeye 33. They're driving now, trying to get a little bit of Uncle Mo and momentum. Texas kind of feeling themselves right now. I mean, even if they can get 3, it would be huge. Wisner again, man, they're just going to one player and one player alone. 5 yards, first down, Longhorns. Here we go. Here's the offense that we were waiting to be able to have. But again, a lack of talent at running back, wide receiver, and tight end. Out of all the teams that were left, Texas, Ohio State, Notre Dame, and Penn State, even Notre Dame and Penn State have better offensive weapons than Texas. That's kind of shocking to some people. But that's the reality. Because, I mean, if they had a Xavier Worthy, a Adonai Mitchell, Bajan, you know, if you had any of those guys there, the score would not be 14-7. Wisner again for like the 5th play in a row, 3-yard gain, second down and 7. Hey, but if it's not broke, don't fix it. Keep going. Ewers pass incomplete to Wisner. This is wild. It's just like Ewers, Wisner, Ewers, Wisner, Ewers. Okay. Is there anybody else on the team that can make a fucking play? Third down and 7 on the OSU 26. I mean, they don't got any other options. I mean, they would be going to Golden, you know, and Wisner, but they, you know, don't have access to him because of the injury. Ewers. Good defense there with the bat down. Third down and 7. You got to sprinkle in Arch Manning at some point or another, you know, for him to be able to run for a first down or throw the football. Everyone assumes that you put him in, that they're going to run, but Arch got a spiral. You know, he's going to be the starter next year. Touchdown, Longhorns. Ewers to Blue again, and they love using running backs in this situation. And the same exact play that they ran in the first half, the Buckeyes get burnt again in the second half. And that is something that doesn't happen very often. Wow. The exact same play. Jaden Blue scored in the first half as a running back catching the football, and they do the same damn play again. Wow. I mean, the lack of talent from Texas is mind-blowing, but again, even if they only go to Blue and Wisner, that might be enough for Texas to make this a game. "26 yards. I mean, when you got a running back on a linebacker or running back on a corner, running back on a safety, that's usually an advantage. Good yak yards with Blue after the catch as well to get into the end zone. Unacceptable play for the Buckeyes on their defense, just like Texas's defense with an unacceptable play. And that wasn't blown coverage. That was just the wrong defense. Because you guys were playing a soft zone. There was 3 guys in a diamond, and they threw the ball right in between all 3. So it's not like you had guys fall down like Penn State when Notre Dame scored, when one guy falls down and then another guy falls down and you score a touchdown. I mean, all 3 guys were in 5 yards of blue, but they threw the football right in between the gap, right in the diamond, and the rest was history there. Yeah, but he was wide open, not due to blown coverage. It was just the wrong defense. Good play by Texas. 14-14 all. At least it's now is a game. Jaden Blue for his second tutty. All right, Quinn, I see you. All right, baby. We got ourselves a game finally. Stone kickoff for 40 yards. Fair catch by Emeka Egbuka at the 1. All right, Chip, you got to get him out of a hole. All right, Buckeyes, your turn. Will it be Judkins? Will it be Travion Henderson? And we're still waiting on Jeremiah Smith. He's got this ability. Or maybe it'll be Egbuka. Good game, 14-14 all, defensive matchup. Just like yesterday's game. Did they? Well, how much snow do you guys got at your location out there? We don't got any snow or ice or anything here yet on the West Coast, but and obviously some updates on the California fires. It sounds like some of the fires now are leading to arson, where you're getting idiots that are setting fires to not only like celebrity neighborhoods, but just other areas. I mean, I don't know how dumb people can be when people are dying and losing their homes and losing their pets. And then you got people out there making it fucking worse. But one thing is for sure, I'm glad I don't live in California, and I never will. 14-14 all, Buckeyes and Longhorns. 3:12 left in the third. Wow. That's some snow. Definitely a trap game for the Vikings where they could lose that matchup. All right, baby, here we go. We only have the Natty and this, and that's it. So you got 3:12 in the third, a fourth quarter at 15 minutes, the Natty, and then that's it for 2024 college football season. Shotgun set. Little check down. There we go. First down, Buckeyes. Move the chains. Flag comes out. Personal foul on the Buckeyes. Can't be doing that. What is he doing? Sarafeld being an idiot. Oh, for real? Yeah, we don't get that much snow. You know, if we get a couple inches of snow, everyone freaks out. Hell, people freak out in the Pacific Northwest when it rains for the first time in a long time. But, you know, if we end up getting a little bit of snow, I mean, it could shut Oregon down, so to speak, in certain areas. You know, it's like if we get, you know, over 4 inches of snow, it's a big deal. You know, and again, every once in a while, we'll get, you know, 7-8 inches of snow. And once every 10 to 20 years, we might get, you know, 9 inches or more. But I mean, it's pretty rare. But if I got enough snow to walk around and slide around with Paisley, I mean, that's enough for me. Oh, it's 12 noon. You know what time it is? Time for a sack lunch. Yum, 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 yum. Big sack lunch from Broughton. 10-yard loss. Wow. Matthew McConaughey likes that. All right. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. We haven't hit the algorithm yet. We've hit the algorithm with the bots, but not the people yet. And we're at 11, 89 to go. We'll see if we get any other goats to come through to show some love. I mean, this is literally the best thing that's on TV for sports. There's nothing that's going to be on this level. So, I mean, if as long as the game stays close, we should get an increase of volume in the channel. Little delay. I'm not sure if he got it off, though. Howard passing, complete to Henderson. Fourth down. Texas defense stepping up. And they might not really be able to go to too many individuals. It's like they have two players that they can go to, but if Blue keeps getting touchdowns, you know, they might be able to steal this game. They're keeping it close. Yeah, they've definitely shut down Jeremiah Smith in this game. Good defense there by the Longhorns. That's the difference between Oregon's defense with a month off compared to Texas's defense. What you're seeing here today, they're actually being able to get pressure and they are flying around. You know, they're getting to Howard, they're getting sack lunches, they're getting tip passes. That's something that Oregon couldn't do. You know, they were better in the second half. They only gave up 7 points, but you know, you can't give up, you know, 30 plus in the first half and think that you're going to win. It's crazy how you can have like one bad half and then your season's over and you're undefeated. Only undefeated team in college football. You win the Big Ten championship in your first year. You have one bad half, right, for being off for a month, and then it's over. Like some of these teams have lost once, twice, 3 times. Like, it's just bad luck. It just stinks to have literally the one bad half and then that's it. Everyone else was able to make mistakes and at least lose a couple games, but then Oregon gets its first loss and has one bad, 2 quarters and then goodbye. Yeah, man, college football can be cruel. Good tackle there by the Buckeyes. Pass complete to Wisner, loss of 2 yards, 3rd down and 6 at the Longhorns 44. Yeah, yesterday's game was good. This game is shaping up to being whoever has the ball last might win. And, if they don't have an answer for that little wheel route to Blue and going to the running back, Texas actually could win this game with an inferior team. Their defense doesn't have the names, and the offense doesn't have the names compared to Ohio State's. But, at this point, one single play has got them 14 points. And, and again, if you end up having a bad interception by Howard, or if it ends up being a pick six, a thick six by one of the defensive linemen, or a key fumble, that could be the difference between the Buckeyes winning and losing this game in the 4th quarter. And if the Buckeyes lose, it's going to be more crushing than when Oregon lost, because this is a game that you think I should have won if they lose this. Because you got to think, if Ohio State wins this game, they're going to be the favorite to win it all. If Texas wins, Notre Dame might actually win the Natty, because they're the better team. Notre Dame is probably pulling for Texas to win, because if they win, they have a better chance against them matchup-wise than the Buckeyes. But we'll find out who is the better coach at this point, Ryan Day and Chip Kelly, and or Sark. We're going to find out here, but 14-14 all. What a game. It's like Ohio State could have one bad quarter and then their season's over. Just college football, man. It's just, it's not like, the NBA, the MLB, or the NHL where it's best of 7, where you literally can fuck up 3 times and then, still win something. In college football, you fuck up with one play, that's it. Man, I can't wait for this 4th quarter. And this college football playoff, besides having the month off for the teams that had the bye, it's working. The games are more competitive and more exciting, and it's kind of coming down to whoever has the ball last. Now, the first round was terrible, right, where it was just blowout. Every team had a home game. That was a flawed system. No team should have a home game in the playoff. It should all be on neutral ground. And then the teams that are rewarded with the first 4 or 5 seeds that have the bye, they should only have a week off. That's it. Not more than that. And if they implement neutral ground in the first round, the teams that have a bye are only off for a week, then you solve all the problems. Because I guarantee if you only had a week off, we would have had at least 1 or 2 teams out of the 4 or 5 that played that would have won. But this is the first year. They definitely had some bias because they wanted matchups. They wanted to be able to have the Texas-Georgia if possible, but they ended up getting Georgia-Notre Dame. They wanted Ohio State-Oregon for ratings, and they knew Ohio State was going to get hot after the loss to Michigan. So last quarter, and again, Ohio State has pretty much dominated this game, but again, Texas hanging around because their defense is playing great, and running backs, wide receivers, tight ends have let them down besides just 2 players alone. But again, sometimes that's all you need is just 1 or 2 players, to give you the rhythm, right? Wisner has been the guy, right, as the running back, as well as the receiver, and Jaden Blue with the 2 touchdowns. Last quarter. Golden is in. He said, fuck it, I'm injured. I might just be a decoy out there, but I'm out there. Good for him. They shot him up. Bang, bang, bang. He said, give me everything that you got. Incomplete. They at least went to him, though. Matthew Golden finally getting into the game, and that's been their number one receiver, but a little bit too high of a throw. All right, Kern with a punt. It's a punt and party. All right, Buckeyes, your turn. I mean, momentum is in Texas's favor, but, I mean, one play could decide it. So, Ohio State won the first half. Texas won the third quarter. Could go either way. But it kind of feels like if Ohio State wins, that's what's supposed to happen. If Texas wins, like, you know, it's like, did they really deserve to win? Did they earn the win? I mean, obviously, if the clock hits 0 and it's 17-14 Texas, but I mean, I definitely Buckeye fans will be crying and whining and complaining if they lose. There'll be some kind of excuse. But they definitely have an amazing roster. But let's see if this amazing roster can beat up on a team that doesn't really have an offense, but the defense has been matching their energy. Texas with pass interference. That's not what you want here. Come on, Muhammad. What you thinking, bro? Will Howard pass complete to G. Scott Jr. Loss of 2 yards. Second down and 12 at the Buckeye 25. I mean, I guess it really depends on if you're an Ohio State fan or a Notre Dame fan. If you're a Notre Dame fan, you want Texas to win because you'll probably win the Natty. But if the Buckeyes win, you know, they have probably the higher probability they'll be the favorite on the Vegas line. But again, this is the best Notre Dame team we've seen in a long fucking time. Like, I know that people think, oh, they have no chance. But if Texas, with nobody on their fucking offense, can keep up, right? Notre Dame's defense is just as good as these two teams. So, you know, they do have a chance. And again, they have the most points, scored, in the, college football ranks. So, again, if you're able to get the turnovers and the most points off the turnovers, right, you're going to have a shot even against a super team like the Buckeyes. But again, if they match up against Texas, I mean, Notre Dame could be the favorite. Incomplete. Or did he catch that? I guess he did. 3rd down and 8. Very close there. 4-yard gain by Scott. Let's see what Chip Kelly's got in his bag. You know, he's just waiting for that big Jeremiah Smith or Emeka Egbuka big play, crossing route, and then all of a sudden 50 yak yards, and you're in the end zone, and Buckeye fans go crazy. Like, it's just a matter of time before you start getting some of these guys, Tate, Egbuka, and we still haven't seen Jeremiah Smith with his signature play yet in the 4th quarter, but we'll see if it comes. Tate with another catch, 18 yards to the OSU 47. First down, Buckeyes. Tate's been huge in this game since the lack of Smith and Egbuka. He's really stepped up huge in this matchup. Sometimes it ends up being like your third option, right? It's like when Joe Burrow was in his bag, right? In his Super Bowl era, you had Jamar Chase on one side, right? You had T. Higgins on the other, but it was avoid the Boyd. Tyler Boyd sometimes coming up with those big plays. And right now, Tate is doing his best impression of Tyler Boyd when he was on the Bengals, making big plays, even though he might not be the first, second, or third option on an every game basis. I like what I'm seeing. That's incomplete to Egbuka. And that's another reason why he's having to go to Tate, because every time they're going to Smith and Egbuka, more times than not, it's an incomplete pass. Howard going for the jugular, almost picked, idiot. Throwing into double coverage, Egbuka. And if Egbuka doesn't try to bat that down, that's a pick from Howard again. And they're not playing just a straight man-to-man. A lot of these, plays that you're seeing in the replay they're in a zone. You might have a player playing man, but a majority of the deep, fence is playing zone. Well, Agbuka just prevented an interception there, so he turned into the defensive back on that play, and that was good. And where's all the goddamn holding calls on the offensive line on both sides? There's holding on every play. You're telling me there hasn't been a hold this whole fucking game? And I don't like, games being slowed down, and I don't know if we've actually seen any blatant bad holds not called. We saw Penn State get away with 2 big holds that weren't called, but I'm always watching the offensive line first and the defensive line, and they're definitely being a little lenient with that type of calls in this matchup. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. And we're at 11, 89 to go to hit the goal. And we're at 20. Let's try to get to 25. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. 5 more to 25, 10 more to 30. Let's go. Who's going to be the guy? You can kind of feel that explosive play going to happen at some point, and hopefully we get explosive plays from both teams. But we're in the 4th. Everything on the line, a trip to the Natty, right? If Texas wins, Notre Dame has the better team. If Ohio State wins, they're going to be the favorite. So really it depends on where your allegiances lie. Are you rooting for the Big Ten and you're rooting for the Buckeyes? Or are you rooting for the underdog in Texas to win it all? Or are you rooting for Notre Dame, which I think a majority of the country is rooting for as the independent school that doesn't have any affiliation with the SEC or the Big Ten, and they're having a great year. Marcus Freeman, what a G. First black Asian coach to make it to the Natty in this college football playoff era. Pretty cool. What GTA are you playing? 1, 2, Vice City, San Andreas, 5. What you playing? I used to play the PC version when it was over the top view when it first came out. Good screenplay. First down. Buckeyes. Move the chains. Howard pass incomplete to Tate. 2nd down and 10, and that's a rare miss to Tate. It's like the first, that's the best part about their team. It's not Riley Leonard. It's not Jeremiah Love. It's not their defense where they have some studs there too. It's the coach, man. And again, when you get a coach like that, like a Dan Campbell in the NFL, it changes fucking everything. And I imagine they're going to recruit very well moving forward, regardless if they win the Natty or not. But if they do, there's going to be some people that will be going to Notre Dame instead of going to Ohio State or Oregon or, Bama or Georgia. If they also have to have intelligence. You can't be dumb and go to Notre Dame. Like, you can be an athlete, but you have to be smart. They don't got dumb, athletes at Notre Dame. You have to be pretty fucking smart to get in there. It may not be the qualifications of like a Harvard or Princeton or a Stanford, but they don't got no dummies over there. Yeah, that'll be cool to see the bus's son. Howard, Judkins, 6-yard gain, 3rd down and 4. All right, Chip, what do you got in your bag? What we got cooking here? Freeman is like, out of all the coaches in college football, obviously that are coaching right now, not named Dan Lanning, he's my favorite. I really like, and it's not just because he's a brother and he's part black, part Asian. It's just who he is and the way he talks to the media and the players. He's super young. He's almost like kind of like a Sean McVay, where he almost looks like he could actually play still. But he doesn't come across as like young, like immature. He actually comes across as more of like a OG grandpa type of coach in a young body, and that's respected. And that's pretty fucking rare for a coach that's in his like 30s, or looks like he's in his 20s or 30s, but he commands the respect as if he's been coaching for like 20 fucking years as like an OG, like a Lou Holtz. Like, the guy is special. Like, it wouldn't shock me if they don't win the Natty this year. At some point, if he can keep building, maybe they're going to be able to win one for Notre Dame, just like we have dreams with Lanning in Oregon. That would be cool. And again, if Oregon ends up having to watch Notre Dame win one first, I'm okay with that. Howard pass complete to Scott for 7 yards, 4th down and 2. Little spin move, but he couldn't get the first down. Nice diving attempt for a 2nd and 3rd attempt there for effort. Get an A for effort there, but 4th down. No blowouts in the Final Four in college football, and that's when you know it's a success. Do I wish Oregon was playing in one of these fucking games? Absolutely. I wish I was playing Texas right now, but again, some things are flawed. First round at being at home should be all neutral all the way through, not having a month off, but everything else based off the games. Notre Dame and Penn State was a classic. This is kind of, coming up to being a point where, any mistake is going to be super magnified, right? Quinn Ewers hasn't had that big mistake yet. Will Howard had the one, but it's better to have the mistake early rather than late. You don't want to see the Drew Aller play. And who's going to be that guy? Is it going to be Ewers, Arch, or is it going to end up being, who? Will Howard. Yeah, I mean, I think you're looking at Freeman and Lanning as being the best 2 young coaches in college football. But there's many reasons why I like him, not just the fact that Notre Dame made the Natty, but the first thing that made me like him is the way that he speaks. Like, you can definitely just tell that he's super intelligent, family guy, well respected among his peers, and people actually listen. And it's not like he has to yell and be their best friend. Like, some people are players coaches. Some guys are hard asses and they like to yell like the Harbaughs. Some guys are more player coaches, friends like Pete Carroll. So you got to be able to find who you are. Are you more of a players coach? Or are you a disciplinary guy like a Belichick or a Harbaugh? And remember, the Belichick Harbaugh shit works when you're winning, but when you're not, then it doesn't. So unless you have won something for them to respect you, right? Or like a Saban, but again, everyone's going to have their style, but it's just being authentic. That's the most important part, and I think Marcus Freeman is authentic, and that's why he's my second favorite coach in college football right now under Dan Lanning. I love what he's doing for Notre Dame, and they got $20 million since they're independent. Normally it ends up going $4 million incentive, $4 million, and the farther that you go. But since they're independent, they get to keep all of that money. Hey, fucking good fucking birthday. Fucking in the Natty. And again, remember when he first got hired, a lot of us were like, uh-oh. We already knew Brian Kelly sucked as a coach. And then, but it's like, when you see a guy that's kind of young, a lot of times that shit doesn't work out. And, we've seen Notre Dame be good in the past in the Manti Te'o era, and then going way back with Lou Holtz, with Raheem Ismail and, Tim Brown, Jerome Bettis. So they've had moments, but they haven't been this good. This is the best Notre Dame team that they've had since their glory days in the 80s. Facts. And again, like I said, if Texas wins, Notre Dame will be the favorite. If Ohio State wins, they'll be the favorite. But Notre Dame has got a chance. They actually have good running backs, a couple of them. Quarterback is good. Wide receivers are good. It's like you actually have players that are offensive line good. Defense, best part about their team. Defense wins games. Defense wins championships. So, if Texas gets shut down, Ohio State to 14-14, You know Notre Dame's got the players to do that too. Howard, using his legs, run for 18 yards. First down, Buckeyes. And that's what Riley Leonard needed to do, use his legs. Now Howard, he's like, let me show you my Dylan Gabriel impression, baby. First down, Buckeyes. There you go. I'll have my day. And honestly, like I mentioned, I was more hurt by the Washington losses with Bo Nix last year by 3 each time than the blowout loss. Because the blowout loss, we already knew it was over. There was no time for me to come back from shock. Like, it was already first quarter, the game's over. Like, what do? You know, there was no chance to win. So, look at this trick play. Oh, Emeka. There you go. Chips in his bag now. Judkins, 6 yards down to the 2. And this is Henderson time, baby. You know what time it is. Uh-oh. Ohio State knocking on the door. They're knocking. And Chip's got like 50 fucking plays from 1st and 10 that are going to score. So it's just, which one do you want to do? And again, they got the explosive players just like Chip had when he had LaMichael James and DeAnthony Thomas. He runs plays like he's got DeAnthony Thomas and LaMichael James, and it shows. Athletes, baby. Let's go. Howard run for a yard down to the 1, 2nd and goal. Oh, my. Oh, baby, baby, baby. They got a little greedy with the Howard. I mean, you don't, I guess you could have done that, but I mean, if you're going to do it, it's got to be like a tush push or whatnot. But you have many, many options. But I think with all those options, I don't, Howard, running it in himself would be definitely lower on the play call sheet. Touchdown, Judkins. Extra point is up and good. 21-14, Buckeyes. Judkins scores in the first quarter. Judkins scores in the fourth quarter. And then you get the amazing play, obviously, that broke the game out there almost before halftime there. Okay, baby. 21-14, Buckeyes. All right, Texas, your turn. Yeah, I mean, again, talent-wise, Ohio State has got the most talent. It's like a mini NFL team. Like, let's be honest. Like, JT, right, and Sawyer are amazing. Like, those guys hold it down. Regardless if the secondary fucks up once in a while, you got Sawyer, you got JT up front, and that's just naming 2 guys. They got a lot of guys that can get it done, right? And then offensively, it's like they just got player after player, athlete after athlete. It's not who scores the touchdown, it's like when, right? It's like you have plenty of people that you can score, so they have the most flexibility with the play calling sheet. And then on top of everything, not Ryan Day, you got Chip Kelly, arguably one of the best play callers in college football with those type of weapons that Oregon had when we had our run. I mean, he is salivating in heaven right now, besides just not being the head coach. I mean, Ewers, pass complete. The home, 8 yards. Second down and 2 at the Texas 33. Yeah, plethora of weapons. Like Notre Dame doesn't have the wide receivers and the tight ends, so that's something that they have like in common with Texas. They don't have that, but they have the quarterback. They have 2 running backs. Offensive line's pretty good, and then the defense is phenomenal. It's just on the same level as Ohio State, if not sometimes better than Ohio State in certain categories. So takeaways and points off takeaways, they're better. So, when they end up getting the turnover, it usually ends up leading to a score. So, but Ohio State number 1 in like 4 categories. So you got four number 1s for Ohio State on defense, 2 number 1s for Notre Dame. But there's other categories. I assume that Notre Dame is up there in the top 5 as well. So 21-14 Buckeyes. Blue run for 8 yards on 2nd and 2. First down and 10 Longhorns. 6:36 left, baby. And again, you can't have your Drew Aller moment here where you end up losing the game if you're Texas. You can't throw the critical pick. You can't fumble the football. We know the offensive line is outmatched. But again, we'll see what they can do here late in the matchup. Blue, I see you. Now Golden, kind of more of a decoy though. Little play action, step up to the pocket. He's open, wheel route. Oh my! Rumbling and a bumbling. Oh my God, a stiff arm. He sent him to fucking Jupiter. Holy fuck. And a flag comes down. I'm for unsportsmanlike. He said, I stiff armed that motherfucker all the way to another planet. How are you going to give me a flag for that? Oh my God. Holy fuck. Oh my God. Holy shit. Blue run for 2 yards. 2nd down and 8 at the Buckeye 11. Man, that's tough. I mean, you want to make sure that you make your mark on the game, but after a huge play like that, oh my God, I mean, you did stiff arm him into another planet, but you can't. Well, he pointed at him, but I mean, is that enough for a penalty? You pointed at him? Kind of weak, if you ask me. He's open! Oh, baby! Oh, my. This is getting crazy. Is that what we're getting here? Oh, my God. Texas threatening. 1st and 10. Baby. Pass complete to Wisner, 5 yards. Down to the Buckeyes 6, baby. Let's go. 3rd down and 3. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. Pass incomplete, but we got a PI. Ooh. Oh. I mean, every penalty is going to be so fucking magnified here, but Texas 1st and goal now after the penalty on the 2. I mean, they're going to tie it up. It's going to come down to whoever has the ball last. It really is kind of the same thing with that Penn State Notre Dame game. Defense is definitely dominated early and often, but it definitely is coming down to that. Incomplete to Golden. 1st and goal on the Buckeye 1. Oh, my. Grabbing the jersey. Little jersey grab. Jarrett Gibson run for no gain to the Buckeye 2 or 1. 2nd and goal on the 1 still. Man, there it is. This is a game, huh? You know what you do at this situation? You put in a fucking Arch Manning and you have him run it in. Yeah, I'm a good fucking offensive coordinator. If I'm Texas, that's what I do, right? Again, 1st and goal on the 1. Put in Arch Manning. He can get you a yard. He'll get you a yard to 8 yards. It's just, no matter if the blocking's good or not, he's got that ability. But again, that's the difference, You have to know your personnel. Get the most out of your guys. Weisner, run for a loss of 6. Stupid. Good for the Buckeyes. Not good for Texas. Maybe Sark needs to give your boy a call. I can fucking coach up and do better plays than you. You put in Arch Manning on 1st down, you would have already tied the game already, 21-21. 100%. Now, why are you running up the middle? You need to be running, bouncing it to the outside. Running right up the gut to JT and company? Dumb. That's like running right into Aaron Donald and when you have other options. Don't be stupid. Pass and complete the Wingo. 4th and goal. Jesus Christ. Texas. Matthew McConaughey is just tripping right now. All right. So listen to O-Doggy Dog. Put in fucking Arch Manning. If you would have had him in there for fucking 4 plays, you would have scored already. But right now, Zay is like, yes. Texas being stupid. Oh, my. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Jack Sawyer! He's a dog! I mean, if you go for the field goal, right, then it puts you down still by 4, and you can't really stop anybody right now, right? Yeah, JT and Sawyer make a great combo. Oh, my goodness. I mean, I'm not going to know everything, but again, if you just think about the things that I say when I say them, and if it would work or not, it's like, I'm watching just as much film as these guys that are in the locker room. They definitely fucked up big. They fucked up big by not having Arch in there on that last drive. Sawyer, baby! That's what happens, right? You have a chance to be able to tie the game up, but what do you do, right? You let Jack Sawyer be Jack Sawyer, baby, right? $82 yards. Are you fucking shitting me? But again, that's the difference, understanding personnel. And yeah, these guys are making millions of dollars, but trust me, if they would have put in Arch Manning on 1st down when they were down at the 1-yard line, they would have tied the game and possibly won, maybe in overtime. But since you ended up going with Ewers, right, you have to know your players, and you have to be able to be great at situational football. Put me in, coach. Shit. I mean, if I can make better play calls and decisions than the head coaches and the OCs that are the big boys, that are the pros, what does that say? Your boy deserves a job. Let's go. A big job. No room for me, baby. 28-14 Buckeyes. And, I mean, they were at 1st down and goal at the 1, and that led to that? Should have never even got to that point. That's what makes Sark little brother. You know, you're a good coach, but you're not an elite coach, because anyone that was elite would have put in Arch Manning, and now you're paying the price. Now, if it would have came to that same scenario on 4th down and Arch was in, he would have got blasted, and that same play would have happened. But 1st and goal at the 1, 2nd and goal at the 2, Arch would have been able to QB sneak it or run an RPO and get in 100%. They're not going to stop him 3 times in a row. But the Buckeyes right there, defense wins games. And what is it? Defense wins championships. And again, I predicted Ohio State, Notre Dame. Another 2 predictions correct. And we'll see what happens in the Natty. But we get the 2 best teams in the Natty. We don't get any pretender teams. The 2 best teams are there. So the college football playoff is working. Fucking Sawyer, dude. Kidding me? And that's going to be a play that everyone remembers Jack Sawyer's name forever. It's like when you make plays like that, that's going to be etched in every college football fan ever. We're not going to forget that play. And it's always cool when you can make plays like with Chip, right? Offensively, we didn't end up getting the, plays like this, the one-handed Jeremiah Smith, or that huge, 12 catches, 190 yards and 3 touchdowns. But, you can win in different ways, and to win by defense, not only to get the sack lunch, but to scoop in the score. That's what legends are made of. Awesome. You know what that is? Electric. There's no fraudulent teams that are making it to the Natty, or one strong and one got lucky. The 2 best teams right now both made it. The system is working. Big Ten, independent. Football, things move fast. Especially if you're on your blind side and you're looking downfield to throw the football to someone, it's not like you're going to have, 10 seconds back there. A lot of times when these big plays happen, there's, you got to get rid of the football in usually 2.5 seconds or less. If you look at NFL and college football numbers, if you're lucky enough and you can, hold on to a bootleg or whatnot, maybe you go a little bit longer, but you got to get rid of the football quick. If you got it longer than 3 seconds, but, look how fast this is. He just takes a couple shifts to the left, and then look at sack lunch, scoop, score, athleticism. Hey, I'm Jack Sawyer, baby. He's just got a cool name, too. Anytime you can be Tom Sawyer's relative, I see you, baby. I see you. Sawyer. Game is over. 28-14 Buckeyes. Fuck yeah, man. They got so many weapons. Judkins, Henderson, Chip. Jesus. We didn't even see anything from Jeremiah Smith or Egbuka, really. And they still won. So that shows you how incredibly deep this fucking team is. And again, they will be favored, as they should be. Notre Dame will be an underdog. Obviously, Ohio State's offense is better than Notre Dame's offense. And it will come down to Notre Dame's offense versus Ohio State's defense. And again, for a team that doesn't really have wide receivers or a tight end, like Texas, you might be able to hang around for a little while, but eventually, the right team, the best team will win. So that's a concern. If Notre Dame had Golden Tate, or had Samardzija at tight end, then I would be ooh, this could be a Notre Dame possibility. But, even if Jeremiah Love is healthy and, they have Price and, they have a good team, but again, player for player, just not on the electric level as the Buckeyes, this year. Ryan Day is a lucky son of a bitch because, again, hasn't had the best record in some top 5 matchups. Has been owned by certain teams over the years. But luckily enough, you got, the defense, you got Chip Kelly, so it's like your job is safe, And again, if you win it this year, who's to say that the Buckeyes don't win it next year? Interesting. 28-14 Buckeyes. But I'll say this, Notre Dame will have a shot. It's like they have an elite defense. Now, if Notre Dame just had like a good defense, no chance in hell. Since they have an elite defense, it's going to be, probably 70-30 Buckeyes, which is probably appropriate. There is going to be a chance, but again, that would mean Riley Leonard would have to outplay Will Howard. Riley Leonard would probably have to throw for 3 tutties, and the Jeremiah Love would have to go for over 100, and score once or twice. Maybe the defense has to get a touchdown. Certain things would have to happen. Sackledge is on Howard. You have to make him uncomfortable the whole game. And then it might come down to whoever has the ball last and, maybe 27-24 final, kind of like in that Notre Dame-Penn State matchup that we had. Man, it's going to be it'll be the best chance that we have for a natty to be decided by 7 points or less, with Notre Dame and Ohio State playing. Now, does Ohio State have the ability to win by 14 or more? Yes, but if Notre Dame's defense steps up enough, maybe it ends up being a Ohio State win by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Or you end up getting the most impossible outcome, Notre Dame winning the natty by 3. Kicking a field goal at the end by Jeter, and you win by 3. But again, it would be like you have to play the best game of your season. The Buckeyes have to play one of their worst, and then you have to have a little bit of luck. And they are the Irish, right? So you never know. But I definitely feel that it'll be more than likely. We'll see what the injury report comes out about 10 days from now. But it has a chance to be actually not a blowout and an entertaining natty. Because you know how sometimes the NFC, AFC championship game are great, but then the Super Bowl, it kind of didn't really live up to it because one team just kicked the shit out of another team. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes we're blessed with a very close, 3-point win or overtime, win. Chiefs, they're over the Niners and whatnot. But Ohio State, man, what can you say? I love defense, man, and I love this guy. Look at the gloves, the swag, little stickers on the helmet. I just love the history of Ohio State. I'm an Oregon fan through and through, but I'll be honest, I've watched almost every big Ohio State Michigan game ever. Not just when they play each other, but I always keep up with what they're doing. I always look at their draft picks. I know they're going to have NFL players that are going to pan out, and again, it's just still kind of surreal that Oregon is in the Big Ten, and then it'll be, Ohio State, Oregon, Penn State, Michigan, and then a few others. And I'm looking forward to the challenge. It's going to just make us better. And the Buckeyes got something cooking, though. I like what I'm seeing. Viewers intercepted, and there is the it's over play. I mean, it's already over, but now it's over. Yeah, and I think that would have held true because I think we would have beat Texas, if we were able to get past Ohio State, and then if we were going to lose, we would have lost to Notre Dame in the Natty, but that's kind of my feeling. But again, we weren't good enough this year, and the Buckeyes and the Notre Dame Fighting Irish are the two best right now, and I don't, the college football playoff, even though it's flawed, it did end up with the best two at the end. At least for right now. But I definitely feel if there is a team that could beat both of these teams, including Notre Dame, it's Oregon. I mean, you got to think we had one bad half. Second half, we didn't give up 34 points and lose 68-7. It wasn't like that. We only gave up 7 in the second half, but when you give up like 34 in the first, you're fucked when it's 34-8, We don't have LaMichael James and DeAnthony Thomas that do the explosive plays that get us back in it quick. Now, if we did, maybe, a miracle could have happened. But, again, it takes typically 6 to 12 years, for a coach to win a natty. as far as the elites. Ryan Day is in year 5. So if he wins it this year, he'll be the fastest out of a lot of the coaches between him and Dabo and Saban, Kirby Smart. If you're looking at all of the coaches, it's usually 6 to 12 years before they win their first natty. Once you win your first, you can get your second pretty easy. So, even though Ryan Day has not had a good record against top 5 opponents up to this point, he could end up getting a natty faster than any of these other coaches because the quickest was 6 years, and I think he's on year 5. I mean, Zay can look it up, but I am a football head, right? So I think I know. And that's the final, 28-14 Buckeyes. And it's cool that they did it with defense to seal the game. You know how much I love that. You know how much I love that, baby. Sawyer. Heck yeah. Congratulations to the Ohio State Buckeyes for punching their ticket in the Goodyear Cotton Bowl. I see you. And we got the Notre Dame Fighting Irish and the Ohio State Buckeyes in 10 days in the Natty. Well, I love you guys, and I appreciate you guys very much. Sarah, thank you for filling in on the lead mod role. We'll see if we get some more support and more people to hang out when we do the NFL streams. We'll be live tomorrow at 5 p.m. Pacific for the Steelers and the Ravens, on Sunday at 5 Pacific for the Commanders and the Buccaneers, and on Monday for a dual stream of the Vikings and Rams and Monday Night Raw on Netflix on Monday at 5. So 5 Pacific on the next 3 days. So if you guys can make it, that would be great. And I got one question for you. Well, talk sports like us. Your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics. Final score, Buckeyes 28, Longhorns 14. Cotton Bowl winners and advancing to the Natty. I see you, Buckeyes, and I'm out. Guys.